Hi, everybody. I hope you all well and can see me, and apologies for the delay. We're just waiting for a few people to start. Sorry, to join us. They asked us to delay. So if you can all hear me, I see there's quite a few people already on here. I'm quite shocked, and thank you very much for attending and for being with us. So there are some people that are going to join later. If I can ask everybody to just keep themselves on mute, it will be appreciated. But at the same time, if there are questions during the presentation, then just raise your hand with that little hand icon at the bottom, and let's see how we go. If not, then send me a message. I've got my phone here, so send me a message, or otherwise Tinus is with me, Tinus Havenga. So send him a message and we'll try our best to deal with you. So this is a first for us, webinar, and something exciting. And LD, we can hear you. So anyway, I just wanted to say thank you very much to everybody for taking the time for joining and being with us. It's something new and a new idea that, I decided to just go through the animals with people and see what it's all about. So before we actually start, I just want to say to all of our sponsors who have been involved with us from the beginning of this auction, we have actually managed to accumulate the most amount of sponsorships that we've ever accumulated for an auction before. So thank you, to all the sponsors for actually being involved and for contributing in many different formats and ways. To Tinus Havenga, who's sitting next to me, who drove through from Pretoria just to be with us today exactly for this purpose. So thanks, Tinus, and for helping on the side. So as I said, it's a new concept, so feel free to leave the meeting at any time you want to. And I just wanted to go through the catalog, really. I wanted to go through the catalog with everybody. I wanted to explain from our perspective and point of view what I see and what I feel and the different genetics that are involved. And, Hurwitz Farming and the Boran herd, something very special to me. And the genetic diversity is a strength that I think, when Johan and I were building the herd, we tried our best to amalgamate and to try and formulate and go directly to root being Kenya, root being Zambia, Zimbabwe, etc. Try and really establish a herd with a very big gene pool. And I'm excited to say that for this particular auction coming up on Saturday, that out of the 38 lots, we've got 41 different herd sires that have been used to create that. And the phenotype of the animal, I think when whoever comes to the auction will see for themselves that the phenotype is really amazing, especially out of the diversity of the herd. So before we continue, I just want to say that this webinar is being recorded. So Tinus is going to make it available after this webinar is finished. So it will be available on YouTube and wherever else Tinus decides to distribute it. And then while everybody's still fresh, and those that are coming to the auction on Saturday, please do me a favor, and that's just pre-register prior to coming, just so that we can try and filter through the registration process and streamline it and make it as easy and free-flowing as possible. There are already almost 200 people that have gone through that pre-registration process to attend the auction. And those that have been to auctions before know that it gets busy. So in order to accommodate, please, it will be appreciated. But we will deal with everybody, and hopefully you can join us and enjoy. So I'm now going to try this present now and trying to get the catalog going. So Tinus, sorry, how do I do this? Present and then entire screen.
Yeah, touch screen.
Click on there.
Click on that, and then open your PDF on the right-hand side. Hold on. There we go.
So everybody can see that now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Use your mouse, might be a little easier.
Okay. So, guys, if you can see what I can see, I'm trying to present basically our catalog to you, which has been updated. I sent it around this morning on WhatsApp as well. So everybody, if you don't have a copy, please ask me. Just going through all our sponsors that I mentioned, and a bit of a welcome letter, and everything that we do as Hurwitz Farming, which is quite diverse as an agricultural business. Going through the stud book side of the catalog, the auctions for, the society auction rules for a sale under the auspices of the society. This is a sponsorship I just want to speak about from Eastval. Eastval have done this sponsorship for many years already, and that is they give away a car at cost plus a 7,500 Rand fuel voucher to the person who obviously buys the highest priced animal, and it's valid for 3 months, and it's out of all of them a Mpumalanga dealership. So I think that's a very nice sponsorship that we get from East Farm. So as we go through the catalog, you'll see that there's some reference sires that have been used in the catalog, and this one that we start off with is a bull called Bison. Now, I want to just talk to you about Bison for a second. I can't flip it around, so please just bear with me. Bison is a very interesting bull that came out of a commercial herd that Jaron and I bought on a sale in Kroonstad 1 year, and we paid a very, very reasonable amount of money for Bison. He was sold as a commercial bull after the sale, and then we had him inspected and registered and sorted out afterwards. But Bison is an embryo that was created in Kenya. So this was the first that Circle C Ranches, Kevin Klutter, who owns Circle C Ranches in Excelsior, he took buffel semen outside of South Africa and he took the semen into Kenya. And he then flushed what they believed to be, the best cattle in Kenya with buffel semen, because at the time buffel was a well-established herd sire in South Africa, and felt that the impact that buffel had in South Africa would do wonders in Kenya on the Kenyan females, and then they brought back the semen. So that's where Bison comes from. And if those of you that have seen him, he's a hell of a bull. He's thick and he's hard, and he's got a neck that would, fill a room. And that's where Bison comes from. So a very special bull, and a combination of the best of South Africa and pretty much the best of Kenya. So if we look at lot one is Diana. There's the female as what she looks like. And to those that have been to our auctions and have been tracking the results, one knows that we always start lot one with one of the best animals, in my opinion, on the sale. So lot one in this auction she fits that criteria. She's an outstanding animal. She's a phenotypically fantastic animal. And if we look at the catalog and if we look at the pedigree, apologies for those scribbles there, that was done earlier. So I want to just practice with this and show you that there's Biffle. So there he is. And this is a cow, KPR 1058, which is the cow that was used in Kenya when they made Bison. Interestingly, this KPR 1058 cow is also the dam of Sambuca. Now, Sambuca, you'll see if you've studied the catalog already, or maybe it's too soon, is another herd sire that we have in our herd. And there's actually a half brother to Bison out of this cow KPR 1058 with rare genetics on the sire side. In the mother side, we actually take a look here at Diana. So Diana is a firm favorite in the breed, absolute herd matriarch. She made her name famous out of the Sansonia herd, which belongs to Corn van der Walt and his brother Johan. She's really been, one of those traditional leaders of the Boran breed in South Africa. So we were lucky enough to buy Diana out of Corn, out of hand, in an out-of-hand transaction. And since then, we've used her, we've flushed her, and very recently actually just decided that her time is done, and we sent her to our feedlot. Diana has produced and has bred up, I think, by far the majority of Corn van der Walt's herd. And okay, thanks, Tinus. And she really is a household name. We have sold Diana progeny before on sales, and they've always sold very well. And I think those that want to flush a cow out of the Diana line is certainly something to do. There's something to consider. And if you don't have a Diana in your herd, then I can tell you it's well worth looking into buying one, a Diana, wherever you can find one. So there we have lot one, phenotypically a fantastic animal, and then a nice combination of Kenyan genetics as well as the established Diana, and she's 7 months confirmed in calf. If we go through lot two, Allison, the Allison family, the route back to the Allison family is actually this cow over here, BO699. BO699 is a 2823 daughter, and we still have her. She's in the herd and she's doing a fantastic job for us. And we actually bought her as well from a commercial guy she'd been through the mill, and eventually we bought her on a dispersal sale for a reasonable amount of money. And since then, I've always tried to acquire Allisons along the way. So that brings me through to this cow, this DLV 1205 cow, who we bought from the late Christo Crawford on an auction of his a few years ago. And in my opinion, I think the finest cow that he had in his herd. And we were lucky enough to buy that cow from him. And this cow, DBC 1538, we bought on a national auction I don't think, I can't remember if she was the highest priced animal on an auction, but she certainly is an excellent cow. And on the 2023 national auction, there was progeny out of this cow as well that was sold, and they did very, very well. So the mother line of this cow coming all the way from Allison and through, all three of these animals are in our herd, and they are outstanding, exceptional cows, and we flush all of them whenever we get the opportunity to do so. On the sire side, just coming back to this package, which is a 3-in-1, as I said, on the sire side, we have over here one of probably the most underestimated bulls in the entire breed, TLMO 5543. His name is Zebu. And Zebu is also the sire of Jasmine, the famous Hot 1024 Jasmine, who happens to be, again, a Biffle son. And with this GF46S. Now, GF46S bred excellent bulls. She's a grassmere animal out of Zambia, and an excellent combination there, proof in the pudding of what Biffle did with, what Kenyan genetics did with Zambian genetics. The mother over here, DO906, is a polled cow. She's a yellow cow. We bought her out of Ricus de Elrize herd, and again, is an out-of-hand transaction. She recently died, but she's the mother of this bull Kodak, and he's a reference I used in the herd. Now, this DO906, coming back to Kim 45, that's where the polled comes from, this Kim 45. We've got quite a few Kims in our herd, Kim 45 being matriarch of that. For me, she bred a fantastic polled face and a polled head. And whenever I look at polled cattle, I try and find wherever Kim 45 fits into the puzzle. And I think she's great. Hang on a second. We got a message here from Christopher. Says, call me Andy. Did you sort him out?
I'm trying to sort him out.
Okay. Christopher, we'll get on to you now as soon as possible. Okay. So this sire over here, SS1131. Sorry, it's a bit thick, this. Let me try and make this, reduce this slightly. Let's see. Yeah, that's a bit better. Okay. This SS1131, again, was established in Corn van der Walt herd, and then he sold it off to Quentin de Bruin. So Quentin changed the name to Samurai. Corn originally had the name as Rogers, and a very good bull. And again, there is the Diana that we spoke about earlier. So if I look at this package, I mean, there's established animals, there's established genetics, there's the Ellison family who've been a firm favorite and a banker. And then if I look at the calf at foot, this calf out of Sambuca, which is KPO 1179 on KPO 1058, well, that's Sambuca I'm talking about, half brother to Bison. And you see a package over here that's proven, as well as a calf that brings in some rare, unique, exciting opportunities. And again, if you look at the figures over there, the figures are excellent, well balanced, and exactly what we look for in terms of genetics and in terms of a balanced animal that's going to breed. I just want to highlight these bulls that are used here. So, you know, we multi-sire our herd, so we try as best as possible in the catalog to predict the mating, and we do pregnancy tests once a month in order to see what's going on and who they're potentially pregnant to, that it doesn't change, and we update this accordingly. So Diego, he has progeny on the auction, direct progeny on the auction, lot 23. He happens to be a tank son, and I think is outstanding tank son. Diego, those that have seen him would agree with me. And then 727 Goodyear, he comes in and he's actually on offer on the sale. He's the jumbo son at lot 30. So this particular package, you know, I think screams out an exciting opportunity. If there are questions, guys, please just raise your hand and let's see if we get them and come through. Otherwise, you're welcome to send a text message and to me or to Tinas, and we'll deal with it. All right, as we move along, I am trying to go a bit fast, so sorry if it's slow. LD has got did LD raise his hand for a question?
Yes.
Sorry, Simeon, no accident.
No problem. Okay, but at least you know you're there and listening. All right, LD, thanks. Okay, so lot 3 is a cow by the name of Yana. She's a phenotypically beautiful cow. She's feminine, and I think she's got a place in any herd, as well as her heifer calf. She's not yet a 3-in-1, but she's certainly walking with the bull, but the calf is still small. So this is Yana as we look at her. So this bull, Enbor 1526 in Kombi, is a bull that we bought out of President Ramaphosa's herd when his auction still used to be held in Ermelo. And is a bull that, if Christopher's now with us, will know this bull very, very well. He wanted to use this bull one year at Nampo as a display bull for the Boran breed. He's got tremendous legs. So, you know, I think one of the issues, in my opinion, with the Boran can be when it starts to become a bit fine-boned. And Nkombi has got excellent legs, and we bought him specifically to bring in a bit of bone into our herd. And I think he's doing a great job, and certainly in his sons, that trait is being carried through. The genetic combination of Nkombi is very interesting. So BR863 is a bull that is currently, I'm not sure if he's still alive, but he is at Jan Vosgrey Landgoed, who's our neighbor and across the road from us, and a full brother to the bull we had called Granite, which is a combination of 622 and KPO21. KPO21 is the root of Khan as well. So KPO21 is involved there, and 622 is the beef bull from Kenya, was well regarded as the beef bull. So we had the full brother of this bull, Granite, and he was BO882, and he did a smashing job in our herd. And this cow, this Envoy 694 over there, happens to be a daughter of BO329. So an 0329 and 0401 were full brothers. So there's a bit of line breeding going on right in the background there with Churchill. So I think quite a nice attraction in this package over here is the Churchill factor. And Churchill FN 0528 made himself famous in Francois Smith's herd and then moved on to Tom Breitenbach's herd. And his sire happens to be NDA9. And NDA9 was the father of the Bont genetics in South Africa. So NDA9, Churchill, that brings something exciting there. And this comes out of Wilhelm Allers's herd. So when I look at this package, there's functionality, there's femininity, and then the calf at foot is an exciting prospect over there. So the calf is out of a bull in our herd called Jaffa, and he happens to be a tequila out of Jasmine. There it is. So I think if those that remember when it came to the showcase auction this year, I mentioned that tequila has the highest retention of sons in our herd. And there he is another example. So this tequila on Jasmine is phenomenal bull, and some nice genetics coming through again to complement the mother. Okay, I hope we're all still with us. The next sire of reference in this catalog is Horizon. Those that have seen Horizon will agree with me that he is structurally outstanding. He breeds brilliantly. He's a Hublot son, which I'll get into his pedigree just now. And I make no bones about it. He is, in my opinion, our leading herd sire, and certainly the proof is in the pudding in how he breeds males and females. So this is one of his daughters that are being on offer. We also sold a daughter of his on this year's Bont sale, the sale of the Bonts. She did very nicely. She was sold into Zimbabwe. He's also the sire of the Kelly that we sold in the collaboration auction, which I'll talk about later. And yeah, this is her, and this is Kaylee. So there we have it. There's Horizon, as I spoke about. There's Hublot, who is the grandfather of our herd, and we'll talk about him a bit more when we get to Scarlet later, who ultimately goes back to Jose. Jose is a Marula 25 son, and there's Haley. So this cow, Haley, and all her daughters really is the most special cow, I think, in our herd, because Haley, she's still alive and she's still doing well, and all of her daughters have just bred the most phenomenal calves and most phenomenal progeny that we have. This is, we're back to Biffle, TLMO 201 and 177S, another Zambian that is an excellent cow. And I think I'm not sure where she is now, but I think she was at MC. I'm sure she's passed on by now, but I think she was at MC. This cow, CR0615, sad story, but we were flushing her. She was involved in a flushing program, and she actually died in the crush. So just before 6 o'clock at night, when she was supposed to get her Stimufol injection, she collapsed right there and then in the passageway, and that was the end of her. And obviously, we wanted to try and flush her again with Hublot to make a few more Horizons. Moving on and carrying on, there's a cow here, CR07109 Pandora. We bought her in Klokkelaan. It was a dispersal sale of a guy in Klokkelaan. Fantastic animal as well. She also comes out of 177S. So there's some line breeding of 177S going on in Pandora. She's an out and out stud bull breeder, as I mentioned over here. How do we let him in?
He needs Wi-Fi, so probably.
Okay. So sorry, Christopher. Well, Christopher's trying to get in, but it is being recorded, so he can obviously join in later if he wants to see it. Okay, so carrying on. This Pandora over here, when I say she's bred stud bulls, she's the dam of Pumba, Pegasus, Poncho, Chestnut, etc. So when you get a cow that has produced bulls like that of name and reputation, you must know that in the pedigree you've got something special. So Pumba is in our herd. He was actually auctioned off. Him versus Poncho was a battle of the brothers one year on an auction many years ago. Poncho ended up being bought by Jaco van der Walt from Boltcon, as well as Pegasus on the same auction. Two half brothers on the same auction. Jaco had progeny of Pegasus on this year's national auction, as well as on the Prima Gravida sale this year. And Pumba, there's progeny coming on later. So that's where the root of that is coming from, CI0709. Here is Kajivu, Envoy 665, and this cow, BO7400 Kaylee, is a one-of-a-kind Kenyan genetics. There's a direct daughter of her coming on later, so we'll spend more time talking there. But from a genetics point of view, there's something very special in here. And the Bont is coming from B96615, which is coming all the way, not even here. There's another generation over there is where it's actually pulling through and coming through from. What's also nice about this particular heifer is her temperament. It's absolutely unbelievable. She's the friendliest, tamest heifer on earth, and those that want teddy bears out of their cattle, then this is an animal to certainly consider. All right, lot number 5, A, B, and C is an exciting prospect. So 5A, B, and C is the battle of the siblings. On our auctions, we've always had a battle of some sorts. This year we decided to bring 2 battles into it, and it just adds a bit of energy into the sale and creates a bit of a nice atmosphere. So Ferdinand is the brother, and Felicia over here with her calf, baby Felicia, I'll talk about in a second. But if I can just talk about Ferdinand for a sec. So when we sold Jameson, if I just move into the pedigree over here, when we sold Jameson, on one of our auctions, we sold him to President Ramaphosa, and Jameson is a full brother. Excuse me, he was the first of the full brothers that we sold. He's a full brother to Jumbo, Jester, Joker, Jackto, and all of those guys. And he's doing a great job for us, and he's doing a great job for President Ramaphosa. We sold a son of his on the showcase auction to Green Valley Boran, and they paid a lot of money for him, and again shows that Jameson bred both bulls and females, an excellent bull. So Jameson out of Jasmine over there, who goes back to 96615, as we know, as well as Khan, and the combination of Felicia, who's still around, still alive, and flashing her. Felicia is a full sister to Haley, being Hublow's mother, out of Caesar, and they're obviously out of 0312. Who did a great job in Francois' herd, and they're back to 96615. So you can see a bit of line breeding of 615 back in the pedigree, 3rd generation, and I think, in my opinion, a great place for some line breeding to be, because you get the Busterkrach that comes through afterwards within the line. Very good figures. That shows some growth as well. And when you see the bull, you'll see him for himself. He's a big bull, and he's definitely got presence. So when we sold Jameson all those years ago, this calf was on display next to Jameson at the time, and there was a lot of interest in him. There was a hell of a lot of interest in Ferdinand when he was a calf. I frequently get questions: what's happened to that Bond pool, that Jameson son? How's he doing? Are you using him? What? When are you selling him? So now's the opportunity for us. We've obviously used him, and for him to leave the herd if the buyers choose. So Ferdinand has been a firm favorite and has built up a reputation out of the legacy of Jameson in the herd. From the female side, as the full sister being Felicia over here, she's typical of Felicia. She's long-bodied, and she's very functional, and she's certainly done the job. But functional, there's her RCP of 358 days, and her mother's RCP of Felicia 360 days. And if you look at the calf at foot, who really tells the full story, who's out of Jasper, coming in as 5C. So again, the figures are as to be understood, very good between the brother and the sister. As brothers and sisters, quite interesting that slight change, being 103 on the cow value on the sire, and 107 the cow value on the sister, sorry. And then when you look at this calf, and those that come to the auction and actually see this calf and will appreciate, out of Jasper over there, she's just absolutely an exceptional calf, fantastic calf, who happens to be 3 times line bred to B96615. So those that say there's too much inbreeding or line breeding, or how does it really work? Well, there's the proof in the pudding there. On this particular occasion, the calf really clicked, and the whole story comes together beautifully in what I say is a mind-blowing calf. Added to the calf, this particular calf, Jasper, to talk about Jasper for a second, because there are more Jasper progeny on the sale. Jasper comes out of Khan, as you can see, as well as a Jasmine. Now, this Jasmine is not Hot 1024. This Jasmine is WGI 902. They happen to be full sisters, and there's Hot 1024. So full sisters of Zebu, which we spoke about earlier, as well as 96615, and there they are, the 2 of them. So this calf happens to combine both Jasmines that are used in our herd. WGO 902, she's dead now. Hot 1024, still alive and being flashed regularly. And the culmination of 3 times 96615. So when it comes time to putting together and mating these animals, then here you go. I've tried my best to incorporate both Jasmines on top of each other and see what happens as far as the result is concerned. And I think that the result came out on this occasion absolutely excellently. Lot 6 is Leonie. Leonie is a bit of an older cow, being born in 2016. But that said, her RCP is 380 days over 5 calves. She's done a fantastic job for us. She's smooth coated. She's very long. She's feminine, and she's actually an excellent cow. She happens to be a KB28W daughter. Now, KB28W is a PM14R son. So those that say the Zambians can't breed bulls, there you have a perfect example of KB28W, who was sold in a national auction many years ago in Tachet Barnard's Shantamar herd. So 28W did an excellent job. He bred bulls, he bred daughters, and he has an opportunity for one. This is an embryo that we bought. So we bought a frozen embryo years ago, and we obviously transferred it, and this is the result. And very happy with how this animal actually turned out. The mother here, CFH 07343, those that can remember back far enough, there was a herd in South Africa, a Boran herd called Rankin. This cow 343 was the best cow in the Rankin herd. She was flushed many times by Scout van Oudtshoorn as a CFH, as well as in the Rankin herd. A lot of calves were produced out of 343. An excellent cow and a real matriarch. But, I think the more modern breeders have forgotten about 343. But certainly I remember her. She was a white cow. And here's King. King is a full brother to Khan. So not the most famous of the two. He was a grey bull, Khan being the red bull. But there you are. So genetics over here of the Zambian side, 50%, and the Kenyan side, 50%, has done very nicely. She's a 3-in-1. And the heifer calf at foot, comes out of a son of Bontus. Bontus being that Bont bull that is currently at Alpheus Denga and who was at Conrad. So we have a son of that bull. It's the only progeny we actually have. We were lucky enough to get something in calf from that bull, and this is the result. So a Bont bull made this red calf, so she's definitely carrying the Bont genetics back in the line and might throw it out in time to come. Lot 7 is a recently confirmed 3-in-1. She was confirmed this morning, 7 weeks in calf, which is very exciting because she's a great cow. She's full-bodied. She's actually a magnificent animal, and her bull calf is also an excellent little calf. She happens to be a Rambo daughter. Rambo we sold a few years ago to the Mullahs, so he's now doing a good job at Ridwan, Mullah Boudere. And Eros, there he is. He's an Eros son. We used him extensively out of the Rose line, well-known Rose line in Keith. Keith's got some great success out of the Rose side, and obviously so does Quentin. So the genetics here really clicked beautifully, which also brings us into Jose on the dam side. So there's line breeding of Marula 25, as you can see over there. And on the dam side, going further back, we've got Buster and 77R. Now, 77R was in the Circle C herd. She was sold as well. I think she could have actually moved on to King's Velatini back then. But 77R was probably the most famous of these Zambian cattle that came into Zambia as live, into South Africa, as live animals, and 77R. I renamed in our herd the 77R line to be Beyonce, just after the singer. And anything out of 77R, I think, has clicked and bred brilliantly. This cow, 15106, we sold to Senior Boran in Zimbabwe. So she's out of the country, and this is a direct daughter of that particular cow. She was actually a grey cow. So that's what the cow is doing the talking like. And as far as the calf is concerned, the sire is Galaxy. Galaxy is a BO598 son, and Galaxy there he is as a reference sire. He's in the back of the catalogue, and he breeds fantastically. I mean, this is a nice bull calf. There's another one coming out of him later, and he bred excellent heifers, long-bodied animal. And I decided to put the long-bodied bull over this cow, and I think the result has worked out very nicely. So excited to see what happens with lot 7. This Bont masterpiece, lot 8, Nancy, is something super special. So the calf at foot is the youngest calf on the auction. She was born, probably 6 weeks ago, maybe a bit less. So, and a beautiful little calf that's come out of her. And Nancy has just got the most magnificent Bont skin color, and obviously a beautiful udder as photographed in the photo. So Nancy is a bigger animal, slightly taller, but her calf at foot is tremendous. If we look at the composition of Nancy, Chorizo is still around in the herd, doing a good job. He's there also as a reference sire. He's actually a Red Bull. He goes back to CFH 0860 and then 9814 and then ultimately 494. So 494 happens to click over here. So 9814 and 717, I think, were the two most famous 494 sons that have been used successfully in South Africa. This HVT 0001 was an excellent cow, clearly a bull breeder. 9901, whose mother is 96615, 9901. Semen was sold on the bond sale this year, I think last year as well. Breeds very, very well. And 9513 has made a great name for herself in Francois' herd. So the genetics in Chorizo, if we go all the way back there, is really something super, super special. And that's why anything that comes out of Chorizo just clicks like fireworks. On the mother side, some old genetics coming through again from the Ramaphosa herd, Ntabanyoni herd. 9675 Forester from Zimbabwe, and then Giani 2812, who produced and bred a hell of a lot of length, which I think can be seen in the top line of this animal coming through as well. And the Bont of her is coming through from 615 back there in 9901. And 9513 also from time to time, she also bred a Bless or a Patch or something like that. So that's where the color scheme's coming from. Again, nice figures, nice balanced figures, and I think a very functional asset to anybody's herd. If I can talk for a second about the calf at foot. The calf at foot is out of 19521. Who happens to be a tequila again. I mentioned that we've got tequila progeny and a lot of tequila sons being used in the herd with Rachel. So that Rachel cow, B09577, is, in my opinion, probably the top 3 leading cows in our entire herd, and has produced bulls to the likes of Raphael that we sold through to the Sterkfontein herd, Ruger that we sold to Senior Boran, and others. So Rachel is a direct KPO 21 daughter. I think I stand to be corrected, but probably the only direct KPO 21 daughter left living in South Africa. And anything that comes out of Rachel is just superb. And yeah, this calf was mixed with tequila, or the sire is a tequila Rachel on that combination. And tequila is a famous bull. We're going to talk about him later on as well, who is one of the firm favorites that Christopher enjoyed. Christopher liked him a lot when he saw him. So did Gideon Buerta, a very long-bodied bull, rare genetics tequila, and one of a kind, completely one of a kind, and something special to our herd. That's lot 8. If we go on to the next one, being lot 9, Zoe. Zoe is another special lot, and genetically something beautiful. I mean, if I look at this animal and I look at the picture and I look at the pigment coming through, she's really stunning. And, the white animals are certainly making a name for themselves. Not that we're colorblind at Hurwitz Farming, but certainly they're very special, and especially when they've got this magnificent dark pigment, and the pigment on the eye, they are just in a league of their own. So if I look at lot 9, Strixon is the sire of lot 9. Strixon has passed on. Those that are coming to the auction on Saturday will see that the big poster in the boardroom is of a couple of cattle there, and the bull standing in the middle happens to be Strixon with a very strong head. There's a reference hire photo of him later in the catalogue also. And there were two brothers, direct full brothers, D1128 Strixon and D1129 Tank. Tank was the bull that was on the bakkie of the Boran Society for a few years, recently been replaced, but that's where they come from. So 3534 and KPO 955. You know, Kenyan genetics, I like to say rare Kenyan genetics. It's not so rare anymore. They've been around for a while, but certainly relatively exclusive to our herd, considering we bought out the entire Rica Stellare herd. That's why the prefix is D, and he had access to some of the most recent, you know, batch of genetics or Kenyan embryos that came into South Africa before this most recent batch, and that's where these animals come from. So 955 was regarded as one of the best cows in the Alpegita herd, and has produced, you know, stud bull after stud bull. On the dam side, Zoe, here we have something interesting and goes a little bit further back the memory tree. So this is Baltazar, BO6506, one of the famous bulls back in the day who made a name for himself at Bucks van der Berg's herd. BO311, they called her, I think, Fatty. I stand to be corrected, but Fatty, and she happens to be a full sister of BO401 Ramaphosa, so she goes back to 1017. And this Z0681 is a full sister to Amarula, and Amarula bred Samson. He was the sire of Samson. So there's bull breeding and there's genetics over here as well. So a bit of modern with a bit of old and a bit of proven at the same time. And if I look at the calf at foot, the calf at foot comes out of Blixen, who's a bull that we bought from Sterkfontein a few years ago. And he goes back to Methuselah. So again, a genetic combination that's fantastic and something usable, I think, in any herd, as well as from, you know, the color scheme works beautifully as far as that's concerned. If I stop at lot 10, or if I start at lot 10, I think I'll carry on talking forever. But Cyclone is, in my opinion, the best bull that we've ever bred as Hurwitz Farming. I've said it a few times and I'm saying it again. I think he's phenotypically perfect and faultless, and it's not often you get a faultless bull or a faultless animal if one ever exists. But in my opinion, I think he's outstanding, and I'd love to know where fault can be found on this particular animal. He's just exceptional from top to toe, and he was from birth. He was a standout calf at birth, and yeah, a very sad moment to see him leave the herd. But obviously we'll be keeping a semen share in him for use for ourselves. So that is Cyclone. He's the Picasso son, and we all know the impact that Picasso has had on the breed as well as our own herd. There he is. There's Picasso, as we know. Picasso's mother, Segera TLMO 422, we actually bought out of the late Gerrie van der Walt's herd, an excellent cow, 717 daughter. There's Rembrandt, there's 9901, going back to 96615. And that combination just clicked, a masterpiece in Picasso. But, you know, as good as Picasso is, I think that the dam line here really needs to be spoken about, and that is Cremora. So Cremora, she's also passed on. What an excellent cow. She flushed beautifully, she bred beautifully, and she just was outstanding. We bought her out of hand from Bucks van der Berg. She was actually offered on a national auction when the national auction was at Kroonstad many years ago when it was freezing cold. And she never got a bid. So after the auction, Bucks decided that he's taking her home. So he took her home, and then obviously I contacted Bucks and I bought the animal as a heifer from him out of hand. And yeah, I think we benefited from that transaction. Cremora is, if I talk about Cremora for a second, she's out of Buster and she's out of 74p. Now, if I can talk about 74p, that for me, out of all the Zambian genetics that ever came into South Africa, never mind 77R I spoke about, 74P bred the bulls. So 74P is also the mother of 159U. Now 159U bred all of those famous bulls like Kojak, Kaiser, Koorkvaart, Magnum, Top Gun, etc., Top Gasket, sorry, etc., etc. So Cremora is obviously a half sister to 159U. Out of Buster. No, Buster and 159U made those animals. So she's a half sister to 159U out of 74P. So if I look at this combination of Buster with 74P, it's essentially what made all of those legendary bulls that went on to make such an impact, and which leads me to know exactly why Cyclone is what he is, and why he looks like he does, and why all of the brothers that came out of Cyclone really did what they did and are doing what they are doing. And the root of that, in my opinion, is definitely 74p. So yeah, if you look at Kojak and all of those guys, and you look at Cyclone and Casanova and Chagall and all of those guys and everything else that comes out of 74p, it's simply a no-brainer that this is just predictable genetics that's going to work. His brothers, so there were 3 brothers that came out of the flush. Cyclone being this guy, Chagall being the polled one, because Cremora was a polled animal. So Cremora, at least she bred Chagall, who's at Mutanda, doing a good job at Arturu's place, and he sends me pictures of the calves all the time. And the 3rd brother is Casanova, who has, you know, made a name for himself already in our herd. He's got progeny on the sale. You'll go through them just now. And Casanova, he's the sire of Kingpin, who we sold in the collaboration auction for a hell of a lot of money in a new national record. And all of that is coming out of this genetics. So the genetics here is just, yeah, proven, predictable, and guaranteed results. There were only the 3 brothers. So now you know where all of them are, and where this guy goes on Saturday, I'm not sure. But then that's the end of it, as both parents are dead. Obviously, we've got semen of Picasso, but yeah, the Cremora family is coming to an end in our herd. And again, I mean, people said we paid, you know, Colin and then Yolandi paid 88 and 85,000 rand for a straw of semen on our sale in 2023, which was, again, records. But if you just look at what a straw of semen has the potential to do, then really that's a priceless investment, especially with IVF today. Okay, another adverts to go through. Sorry, as we click through them. Catalog message. What does that mean?
You can download the catalog from the messages.
Oh, on there.
Yeah.
Okay, so sorry, Tinus is just mentioning to me that the catalog is available in the messages section. So if you need the catalog, you're more than welcome to download it in the messages section. All right, let's move on to lot 11. This long-bodied heifer, Bambi, is another Jasper daughter. So that's now the 2nd Jasper daughter on the sale, being lot 5C was the calf, and now this is now an adult heifer. There she is, out of Jasper, and she is a grey bont. Not often we find grey bonts out there. They do exist, obviously, and they're very special in their own right, and I think they go down as bont if somebody's concentrating on color. Again, beautiful pigment on her, beautiful oval eye, lovely long tail with dark pigment again, and I think, you know, something that's definitely going to breed with the right bulls. On the dam side, this is interesting. So let me just touch on these BBNs for a second. So BBN is a herd that we bought as a full purchase out of Namibia. BBN stands for Boran, and the N was Namibia. So Boran, Namibia, and that's why you can see that in the catalog, the numbers are written a little bit upside down, not how we're more used to in South Africa. But that said, this herd was purchased by us because of severe drought in Namibia. It was a big mission to bring those animals into South Africa through the quarantine, the testing, both sides of the border, etc. But we managed to pull them through. So there were 2 herds that we bought at the same time. One was BBN and the other one was KG, which belonged to Casper Gunsel. And there is a KG animal coming through, I think, in lot 14 just now we'll go through. But this is different genetics, again, because a lot of these genetics never came through to South Africa because the borders were closed. So the embryos went and got diverted into Namibia rather than into South Africa. So when in the catalog you see BBN or KGs, you must know that that is something that is not readily available in South Africa. So I think the most famous bull that came out of the BBN herd was 0608, which was... sure, the name just escapes me, but not Woodable. I'm not sure anymore. Okay, 0608, but he was by far the most famous. He's a 3094 son, and he was a red 3094 son. He's actually a semen donor, and we regularly sell semen of BBN 0608. Okay, this animal is line bred 786, as you can see over there. Also, again, got the Jasmine in from Jasper, and then something completely different on the dam side. Some lovely balanced figures over there, nothing too fancy, but certainly very usable figures and good on milk as well at 112. And that's, yeah, that's what she is, a beautiful heifer, and will definitely add something different to a herd. Lot 12, Scarlet. I think this happened. This must be one of the firm favorites, I think, for the whole auction. It's just a fantastic package. It's a magnificent photo that Antje took of these animals, and I think that's something, you know, that the photo itself speaks. I don't even have to go through it. But if we do look at these animals, 16295, again a little bit older, a bit of a higher RCP of 500 days. But that said, she's already 7 months pregnant, and the calf at foot is only 8 months old. So that RCP is going to drop down rapidly in the space of 2 months. So I'm not particularly concerned about that at all. And if I look at what she's breeding, then I don't even look at the RCP for another second, quite honestly. That's just how I view the animals. If I look at this pedigree Hublot, the only Hublot direct on the auction, and again, the Hublot factor, as I told Keith Pankey the other day, anything out of Hublot, in my opinion, is just an absolute superstar, herd matriarch, herd sire, and so the legend goes on. I obviously can't talk enough about Hublot, who happens to also be the sire of Horizon, as we know. And there's Haley. We'll talk about Haley later because there's more progeny that comes through on Haley. And on the dam side, Scarlet. CTMO 8102 was a white cow that we bought out of Gert's herd years and years and years ago. Again, a 717 daughter. So 717 plays a part in most herds, but for good reason, because pretty much whatever he bred turned out to be excellent. So a nice combination of genetics in her, where you've got 96615, we've got 717, got Marula 25, Caesar on the bottom side, and a great animal, as well as being 7 months pregnant, as we said. Figures, phenomenal figures, phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal figures there of cow value, growth, calf growth, fertility, growth, carcass, and production. And I mean, Christopher will tell you straight out that when you see an animal, it correlates with figures. And when you see good figures, you see a good animal. And that's, you know, the correlation of it. But the proof of this whole story is really in this calf at foot out of Jasper, who again line breeds 96615, and is just a little stud bull standing there next to his mom, ready to be weaned, and in a few years' time, ready to make an impact for himself. So there you have it. Probably one of the best packages on the auction. And if I was to retain her, or my advice to whoever's going to buy her is to try and flush her as soon as possible. So Dawood just sent me a message. Thanks, Dawood, that 0608 was Boerboel. I thought so. I did kind of mumble it, but I wasn't sure. So thanks very much, Dawood, for reminding me. Nice to see you listening. Okay, John Deere, Mahindra, and back to lot 13. Lot 13, hang on a second. I just want to see something about lot 12. Okay, no. All right, so lot 13 is a gorgeous cow. Those that come to the sale on Wednesday will agree with me. I think she's probably one of the standout cows on the wholesale. When Simon Hughes came to visit the herd a week ago to just see the offering, he couldn't take his eyes off this particular animal, Dorothy. She's deep, she's long, she's feminine, she's magnificent. She's absolutely, superb. And then the sire at foot is out of Galaxy as well. Dollar is his name, and he's a fantastic little calf, very masculine head already on him, and certainly showing nice characteristics and very tame. He always comes for a scratch as well. So she's a chorizo daughter. We spoke about chorizo earlier. So there she is. She's a chorizo daughter. He bred beautifully. And Dorothy, WZ14128, still alive, still doing well. We're still flushing her. She's actually the mother of the cow that Stompie Oliver sold on his 2023 production auction, was the highest priced cow on the sale. Happened to be a BH animal, that doesn't matter, but it was out of 98, and Dorothy. So fantastic genetics, again coming in out of Khan, and then going back to the original Molesworth 0301 of Dorothy. So this picture on the dam side, and provenness over here because of what she's done and what she's bred in our herd. We've sold a son of hers as well years ago. It was a highest price bull on one of our sales. Sold actually into King's Willatini's herd back in the day, with the genetic brilliance of chorizo, which is that whole picture there, is something really outstanding and exceptional. And that's really what I'm looking over here. So the 3-in-1 factor, which she is with a great calf at foot, and the combination of Dorothy with 0598, with WZ14128 Dorothy with BO598, is exactly the combination that Stompy sold on his auction, but this is just out of Galaxy on the dam side. And Galaxy's mother, Gabriella, was and is an excellent cow, and has produced beautiful animals and clicked, funny enough, magnificently with Jumbo. So we flashed her a few times to Jumbo, and the calves are great, outstanding animals. Lot 14, in my opinion, has to be also one of the standout lots on the wholesale. This is Oprah, and this calf at foot is Outlook. So the calf at foot has been weaned. In fact, a lot of these bigger calves have already been weaned. They're not even walking with their mothers anymore. They will just join up on the day of the auction. So this animal is a little bit down in condition, and you guys will see it when you come on Saturday. But she's down on condition because she's raising an absolute monster. And if that is how a cow does it, then that's how they should be doing it. So this calf, we haven't weighed him yet. We will weigh him closer to the auction. Must be well into his 300 kilograms already. And this calf is Casanova son and absolute superstar. So if I look at the pedigree of what we're talking about, here we have King Kong. We sold King Kong semen on auction 2 years ago to Dawood. Paid a lot of money for the semen. And the story here is it's Eros, as we all know, was a great herd sire in our herd. He was one of our leading sires, as well as Kelly, 0424, the original Kelly. So no dilution in various genetics, and that combination made King Kong. This is also a full brother to the Kelly. We sold a daughter of on the collaboration auction for 2.2 million, which was the national record, breed record. So she was a full sister of King Kong. And the other brother was a bull Hulk that we sold out of hand to Gerrie Ulita, who sold the bull on the Sterkfontein auction this year. So there were only the three that came out of this combination of Eros with Kelly, and King Kong is the son that we retained. There's a daughter, and this calf we'll talk about in a second. Here's this KG that I spoke about coming out of the Namibian Casper Gunsel herd, 3534 on the sire side and 886. There's, again, something a little bit different, mixed with Eros and Kelly, so established older genetics that's coming through over here. Breed legends and matriarchs and patriarchs in this package. And if you really look at it more closely, those that are scared of 2459, there's no 2459 in this package that made this animal, and look at the calf at foot. So a real prospect for the future, and that's why I said that we're going to retain a semen share in this bull when he's obviously fertile enough and age appropriate in order to tap semen. So a 3-in-1 package. And what I say over here, and I really mean it, sorry about that, hard with the mouse, proven bull breeders like these should never leave the herd, because that's just the truth of it. I mean, when you are a stud breeder and you get a bull like this, a cow like this, that breeds a bull, then you should keep them, flush them, retain them. You hear Johan van der Nest saying it all the time, and he's quite right with all his years of experience, that bull breeders are not very easy to come across and to find. So here is the calf by himself coming in as 14B, and he is a Casanova son. Casanova is a full brother to Cyclone, a full brother to Chagall, again going back to 74P on the dam side with Cremora and Picasso, as we spoke about earlier. No need to get more involved, but Casanova, this is now another example as to why we rate Casanova so highly and why we rate Cyclone so highly, because Casanova is the sire of Kingpin. So this little chap is a half brother to Kingpin. He's obviously red. Casanova is a Bont bull, but like Picasso, they breed, I think, majority red, and an excellent example of a fantastic calf, and something I think that is going to really make a name for himself in the future. And that's why I said we retain a semen share in this calf. So when you see him, I think you will agree with me, and he's almost a year old. If we look at lot 15, A and B, which is Jigsaw and Ginger, these are the battle of the brothers this year. Like last year, when we had the battle of the brothers, which was Jester and Joker, these guys come out of the same mother, being Jasmine. There she is, the original Jasmine, the herd matriarch, one of the most famous cows in the breed, if not the most famous, certainly by reputation and also by progeny. And what she has yielded and what she has bred, male and female, with various bulls, is just unbelievable. So what a cow. Again, Zebu, which made her, and 96,615 Winnie, which is probably in most herds by now, but Jasmine, I don't think, is in most herds. So if you got the opportunity to get Jasmine into your herd via a bull, which is ultimately 50% of your herd or your breeding group, then these are excellent opportunities. So Jigsaw, I think, is a little bit more well marketed at the moment than Ginger is. There's his full brother Ginger, and I think it's only because of the photo. Fantastic photo taken from the front that shows great width in the chest and a very nice, strong, masculine head. But truthfully, these two bulls are almost identical. They're the same size, they're the same shape, they've got exactly the same personality. They let you know that they're bulls, and they are twins. Now, they came out of the same embryo flush, but when I say twins, I really and truly mean twins. These two, they obviously didn't come out of the same recipient, but they are inseparable. So hear me when I tell you, they are absolutely inseparable, and they've been inseparable since babies. You cannot see one without the other one. The two of them stand next to each other. One of their bums always touches the other one's tummy. Doesn't matter where they are, they just need to be connected. So we actually separated them in the lead up to the auction for a various exercise, and they went mad. Both of them went mad because they didn't have their brothers with them. So when we eventually realized that we are now separating these two bulls that have been with each other for years, and we put them back together again, then there was peace in the family, and all the fences were back intact. But these two bulls are inseparable, and if somebody has the means to buy both of them, it would be greatly appreciated from our side, because there is an emotional human touch to it, and these bulls are best friends, full brothers, and as I said, inseparable. But these are two bulls. We've used them both in our herd. We'll keep a semen share in both of them for own use, and genetically something very special out of 717. So if I talk about the flushing that came out of here, of that combination of 717 and Jasmine, there were 3 sons, 3 brothers that came out of this particular flush. These are the 2 bond ones that you can see in the catalog and on offer. And the third one was a Bull Johnson, who we sold to Ridwan Muller last year. And he was a yellow bull, coming probably closer to his father, 717, who was a yellow bull. And these 2 are born from Jasmine, Jasmine is born. So there were only the 3 of them. And again, an example that we're not keeping any of them, even though the genetics are so amazing. We'll keep semen. But let's share, and let's allow these animals to get into the herds and become popular breeding bulls in size for the future. So if I can just talk for a second, let me just explain to those that are listening. Those that are listening, I think, took the time and effort to be with us, so therefore probably serious about some of the animals on offer. So the battle works exactly the same as it did last year with Jester and Joker. In that, obviously, the 2 animals, this applies to the brother-sister lot 5, A, B, and C as well. They'll all be in the ring together when it's their turn to be. Johan van der Nest, as the auctioneer, will try his best to auction off the animals. Eventually, the bidding will close as per an auction, and somebody will be ultimately the winner of the bid, and he will have the opportunity to choose and select which one he wants. The underbidder will have the opportunity to choose the other one at his price, not at the closed price, at his price, which is the underbidder price. If he wants the animal, then fine, the animal sold to him. If he doesn't want the animal, then anybody else in the room has the opportunity at the same underbid price to buy the animal. And if not, there's no interest and there's no one wants to buy him, then he just gets retained in the herd. And I have absolutely no problem with that, because I'll use any of these bulls gladly. So there we go. That's how it works, and that's how the siblings works and the brothers works. Lot 16 is a polled animal. I think there are only 2 polled animals on the sale, and they both are Christina's. It's this one and lot 38, the last animal on the auction. So Christina comes out of 74p again. So I talked about 74p earlier. No need to waste more time about it, but I do want to talk about Christina for a second. So Christina is out of Biffle. Christina was the herd matriarch out of this in the Circle C herd. Christina was the cow that Kevin Klutter held on to as long as he could, until eventually it was time for his dispersal sale. We bought Christina on his dispersal sale. We bought 2 of her sons as weaners. We bought a few of her daughters as well. And whatever we could get our hands on out of Christina there and then, we tried our best to do. We flushed her many times, and she always bred brilliantly. Majority polled, because that's where 74p comes from. So she's actually a half sister then to 159U with Biffle. On the sire side, Grizzly. Grizzly made this animal. So there is a reference sire picture of Grizzly. Grizzly, over there, here he is, out of 0321, 2588, and 961. Now, 961 is the mother of Buster, going back to the old TLM herd, Terry McClintock herd, and these were some of the animals that really established the breed in South Africa, being Buffel and Buster. TLM, Terry McClintock's herd, which is the herd that Johan van der Nest played an active role in years and years and years ago, and that's why he knows the Boran breed so well. So when I talk about Grizzly for a second, a few years ago, the Boran breed inspectors had a bosberaad at us on our farm, and they spent 2 or 3 days going through the animals and having meetings and seminars and criticizing and complimenting and doing what inspectors do best. And they identified Grizzly in the herd as one of the herd sires that we had at the time, and they really, really loved him, and just, you know, were gobsmacked as where did this bull come from, and how are you using this bull, and how does he breed for you, and etc., etc. So Grizzly, as I said, is a reference sire in the back of the catalog. You'll see a picture of him like a mottley bull. And a sad story with Grizzly, he's still alive, but the sad story is that he lost his eye in a neck clamp as a tragic injury. So he actually now runs around, covers cows with one eye. So that's a bit of an insight into Grizzly. As far as the calf is concerned, the bull calf is concerned out of Zenon, and Zenon is also a Zebu son. So this animal has got, this calf is actually line bred to Buffel because Zebu is a Buffel son, and obviously Christina is a Buffel daughter. So there's a bit of line breeding with Buffel, with Grizzly and Christina, and very usable genetics, obviously, in anyone's herd. If I move swiftly on to lot 17, lot 17, Jackie, is for me, in my opinion, and I don't know, I'm not, as I said to Tennis the other day in an interview, I'm not an authority, but as far as I'm concerned, this cow, 2214, is the best cow that we have offered on an auction. I think she's absolutely superb from top to toe. She's wide, deep, she's got the length, she's got the femininity, she's got the genetics, she's just absolutely amazing. She's got the udder, and I think, you know, the perfect picture of what a Boran cow should be is this particular animal. When one sees her, I think there'll be agreement. So 2214 is her. Again, she's a Horizon daughter. There we go again. Anything out of Horizon back to Hublot is, in my herd and our herd, just the golden ticket to success. So there we are, Hublot, Horizon, and on the dam side, we've got Rolex over here, and this cow, Jackie. I'm going to talk about this cow, 17252, now because she happens to be lot 18. So I might as well talk about 17 and 18 at the same time. So the combination that made this particular cow, lot 17, 2214, are these two herd sires and four fathers that I used the word in our herd, which is Hublot and Rolex. So Rolex we sold to Conrad Hollenbach. I'm not sure if he's still alive, but he certainly made an impact in our herd. He's also the father of Ronaldo, who has a daughter coming on later, who's doing a great job at Yolandi's Illuminati herd, and Hublot. So this animal has sentimental value for me, being these two sires, which were our leading herd sires, as well as Seiko, which is the father of Lexus, coming later. And lovely to see how our genetics has clicked and the combinations that we used has produced. This cow, VST 12103, here is the mother of Jackson. Jackson is at Ridwan Muller's herd, Muller Boerdery, and again, Jackson he bought from us 2 years ago, doing a great job, one of the leading herd sires. And I don't think Ridwan actually knows this, but I'll tell him. When he was sold on the auction, when Jackson was sold on the auction, I think we sold him for 500,000, which was obviously is a lot of money and a great price. But he's such a phenomenal bull that Johan van der Nest, you know, moved the microphone away from his hand, and he said to me under his breath that it's too cheap for that bull. So that really is a phenomenal bull, Jackson, and I think he's doing a good job at Ridwan. And this is the root of it. So VST 12103 is the cow that bred Jackson, with Rolex this time and with Hublot, and there's the picture. The calf at foot is a beautiful little calf, heifer calf, out of a bull we called Scorpio. There he is, 18517, who happens to be a King Sharka son, out of Sarah. Sarah is one of those old CFH cows, magnificent cow. She's still alive. She's an 06 and she's still alive. Just don't have the heart to actually say goodbye to her. She's just one of those real icons of the breed and certainly of our herd. She's a full sister to King Sharka. So we've, those that are familiar with our herd, we've sold progeny out of King Sharka before. So Sarah and King Sharka, King Cobra. Sarah and King Cobra were brother and sister. And King Cobra we've sold a lot of progeny from. So this animal over here, this calf out of Sharka and Sarah with Hublot and Rolex and the Jackie line and everything in it. And again, one of these animals that I would flash forever and ever. This lot 18 is the mother of lot 17. So she's a little bit older. There she is, Rolex out of that Jackie cow. And her calf at foot is a calf made by the sire 18554, which is a bull we call Mustang, who happens to be a Picasso son. Out of a cow 0631, which is Margot. 0631 was a matriarch cow that we bought years ago, also on a dispersal sale in Kroonstad. Fantastic cow, white cow, flushed as many times as possible with Marula 25. And that flush, I think, with Picasso is what made 554. And if Yolandi, if you're there and listening, 18554 is that Picasso son you've asked me about in the past when he stands with the water behind him. So there he is, and he made that little calf. So that's 17 and 18. Ronaldo, there he is. Great picture of him, and I think doing a fantastic job, certainly in our herd as well as in Yolandi's herd, as I said. And he's a Rolex son, and one of the most famous bulls that we've sold of modern time also. So very proud to have a Ronaldo daughter on the sale. And if I look at her, she's gorgeous. She's feminine, she's wedging, she's absolutely in perfect balance. Nice long tail again. And I think a beautiful, beautiful animal with the pleats in the neck and perfect hump position, perfect eye, oval eye, perfect pigment. And again, one of the standout heifers, I think, on the sale. There we have it. She's out of Ronaldo. Ronaldo going back to Rolex with Roxana, 0401, the Ramaphosa bull. And on the dam side, all of this MHB stuff is original Moleshoop genetics. So there we have Rustin, Dorothy, which is the same Dorothy in lot 13. 0504 Franco, you don't see much of him. And also Cindy. And the Cindy line has also kind of disappeared in more modern times. But this over here is all the blue blood, as Johan van den Nest would call it, of the Moleshoop herd. And the Moleshoop herd was actually split in half at the time of dispersal and sale. Half of it went to Quentin de Bruyn, and half of it went to Willem Jansson. That's why it's got these WJs. So Willem Jansson bought half of it, and Quentin bought the other half. So some old Moleshoop genetics coming through with Ronaldo. And a beautiful, beautiful animal over there. And she's also quite heavily in calf, 7 months pregnant to Walnut, which is the main bull that we used on the sale, as well as to Chorizo. Lot 20 being Lexus. Sorry, guys, I know it's taking a while, but I'm trying my best to get through it. So lot 20 Lexus is out and out herd sire. I say the word supreme herd sire. We've used him in our herd with amazing success, and now it's time for him to go and make an impact somewhere else. He's a large framed bull. He's sleek coated. He's ultra masculine. He's got a tremendous neck on him as well, which is a great sign in a bull. He walks beautifully. He tips the scale at well over 800 kilos, and he's a total block of a bull and bred beautifully. So if I look at the sire side on him, Seiko, which I spoke about earlier, 717 son. So Seiko we sold to Henk Botha, BFT Boran. So it was Seiko, Rolex, and Hublot. Those were the three real herd forefathers of our herd. And Hublot is the one that died at us, and Rolex we sold, and Seiko we sold. Out of Sabrina, there's a direct Sabrina daughter coming out later with Sharka and 717. But I think that the real key to this particular animal is in Lolo, B07177, again 622, and Kim 19. Kim 19 was something very rare and didn't really exist in the herd. So there was the two, Kim 45, the polled one, Kim 19, they come out of the Lola Marik herd. And yeah, we bought her on Johannes Norval's dispersal sale. We bought as many daughters as we could of her at the same time. And this is what she managed to produce with us. And interesting enough, this Lexus is a natural calf, naturally mated calf. He was not used, she was used in embryo programs, but this calf was a natural calf. So a beautiful bull, and I think that a real herd sire and going to be an asset to anybody's herd. And this is a daughter of his in lot 21A, and his son comes in 22. Here she is. She's absolutely gorgeous. She's a fantastic cow, and this is a jumbo calf at foot. So here you have the combination of Lexus and all the entourage that I just spoke about, as well as jumbo with Jasmine, and the calf at foot is again just genetics doing the talking, and a real credit to, I think, where we're going to in our herd and our breeding programs. Now, if we look at the actual pedigree of it, there we have Lexus again, which I just spoke about, and this Liz. So Rolex, there he is again. So, you know, wherever there's Rolex in the pedigree, there's quality. It's as simple as that. And I think Arturo at Mutanda has realized that already, that wherever he sees Rolex, he sees quality, and he likes Rolex, and for good reason. Rolex is also the father of Netstar, just by the way. And Netstar, we all know how well his progeny have done on sales. This cow CFH 12547 Liz is the mother of a bull calf who's now almost reaching maturity, called Legacy. On Facebook a few years ago, we did a name the calf, or can you identify a name for us to help us to name the calf, starting with an L. Legacy was the name that was chosen, and Liz is the mother of Legacy. So Rolex and Liz made with Lexus, made this picture over here. Now, how did we give her the name Liz? Quite a funny story. So back in the day, Skalk van Oudtshoorn used to have his sales in November, and Liz Riley from Swaziland used to always attend his sales, and Liz was, you know, the most aggressive bidder and buyer on those sales, year in and year out. So it was always a good tug of war between us and Liz back in those days as to what we could and what we couldn't do, and buy or leave. And when we landed up buying Liz, I got a message from Liz afterwards to say, you know, Simeon, with huge regret, we never bought Liz. We should have gone harder. And this animal, 547, and if you ever want to sell her, please let me know. So there and then we named her Liz, and that's how Liz got her name. So this is a top package, in my opinion. The bull calf, I think, is doing the talking. Very good bull calf out of jumbo, out of Liz. And if we just talk about the quality of jumbo, I want to show you something that those people that pay attention to the figures. If you look at the mother, Liz, these figures here, which is really where we look at it, the cow value, the growth, the carcass, and the production value. Let's just look at cow value, because cow value summarizes all of them. That's like, if there's one figure to look at, people just look at cow value as the summary. So Liz's cow value is 105, which is excellent. Nothing wrong with that. But the calf, just because of the influence of jumbo, is at 114 already, because jumbo's figures were excellent, and jumbo's doing a great job all over the show. So again, just proof in the pudding that if you get a good bull and he's worth his weight in gold, that the impact that he'll have on your herd is tremendous. And here is living proof of what that really is. So I've spoken enough, I think, about Liz and Lexington, the bull calf, but I think they're also one of the highlight lots on the sale. This picture is maybe not the best picture in the whole wide world as far as the catalog is concerned. So please don't underestimate the quality of this package when you look at it. But they really are a very functional, a very nice unit. This very feminine cow. Simon Hughes loved this package as well when he was at me last week, and specifically the bull calf. This bull calf is a Lexus son, and this picture is a good picture, but it's not doing enough justice to this calf, and he is an absolute herd sire, potential herd sire in baby format, and in my prediction will actually go on to be a better sire than his father Lexus. And I think that he's just really, really brilliant. If I look at the genetics in him, out of this bull Tarzan we bought on a national sale, towards the end of the sale, I think we got the bargain of our lives with him. Don't know who ever remembers him, but Tom's Tarzan came out of a shared flushing program with Francois Smith. That's why you can see that these genetics go back to the FN herd with 717, Caesar, and this cow, Elzu BA 0203. In our herd, we named it Alicia, but again, a very good cow, and certainly done a hell of a lot of talking in our herd as well as Francois' herd and others. On the dam side, some animals out of MC van Straten's herd. This 786 BO5122 786 was a very good bull, BO5122, and this TLM 0312 is Knopkiri. Knopkiri is a half brother to Eros out of 2738, and yeah, did a great job in MC's herd. And anybody who's got some Knopkiri in their herd, I think has got something very, very good in there, because you know his progeny just did wondrous all over the show. But I think the real benefit to this lot 22 is this bull calf. And when you see him on Saturday, those that are coming on Friday already will agree with me that he's exceptional. This lot 23 A and B is, in my opinion, the superstar, genetic superstar of the whole auction. I love this package, and I can't speak highly enough of it. The cow is magnificent, a white cow again with that dark pigment, which I personally love so much. And the calf at foot is a Picasso. She's the only Picasso on the auction, female on the auction. So Picasso daughter direct. And she's also excellent calf. Simon loved her. Simon loved the cow. And I think this is one of the highlight packages. But if I really do some work into the catalog, you will agree with me. So here's Diego, who I spoke about earlier, because he's the potential sire of one of the calves to come. Here's Tank, 1129. This was the bull that was with a massive head, who was on the side of the Boran Society Bucky for a few years. Full brother to Strixon, who we spoke about earlier. And on the dam side, Debonair, again, 1244. 1244, I stand to be corrected, but I think is the sire of Tequila, but I will check that. And then Home Alarm 0566. So some different Kenyan genetics over there, as well as Tank and his genetic pedigree. So a sire line of complete outcross, different Kenyan genetics coming through. And on the dam side, BO7 400, which is, as I spoke about it earlier, because she was in the third generation, but I told you that there is a direct daughter coming on later. So 3192 and 8718 being Kaylee. Look at the genetics here, completely rare. Kaylee is a one of a kind, and you know, for good reason, because of that picture over there. So if I look at this cow and I look at the Kenyan genetics that are being made and used to make this animal, with zero influence from any of the South African bred and South African made genetics, this is ultimately what you would find in Kenya on a fast-tracked scale, because here she is available on a production auction in South Africa, but her pedigree is 100% Kenyan. And then comes the Picasso calf at foot. Now, this Picasso calf at foot was made out of an AI. So this cow was AI'd, obviously by my choice and my decision, and this is the result. And I think it worked beautifully. And I said it in the interview with Tinus, if those that listened long enough, at 88,000 Rand a straw times 1 or times 2 and used to make this calf at foot into this cow, then the value, never mind the genetic value, but the financial value of this package and the return is just on another level from an investment side. So the investment that we as Hurwitz Farming put into the herd when we buy on auctions, as well as when we self-internally invest, flushing programs, AR programs, etc., as well as culling, because it costs a lot of money to cull cattle as well, because you're taking potential and putting it into a feedlot. So that also comes at an opportunity cost, because you don't know how it's going to really turn out. But eventually they get to an auction, and this is what we see. So I'm very impressed with this lot, and I really can't talk highly enough of it. And that's why I say the bride of the auction and an absolute dream come true package. And the calf at foot, there it is, out of Picasso, with this pedigree that I spoke about earlier, which is there on the top, plus the figures, and the result is this. And it's just phenomenal genetics coming together, and a 3-in-1. And so she's young, she's feminine, she's fertile, she's absolutely a dream come true as far as a herd is concerned. Misty lot 24 is a superb heifer, beautiful heifer, another Jasper daughter. Nice again, dark pigment. I'm quite strong on pigment, so I like this, and that's why you've heard me talking about it for a while. Just not necessarily a functional thing, or an aesthetic thing, I suppose, more, but certainly, in my opinion, I like to farm with something that I like to look at as well, and pigment for me plays a part. So Jasper is the sire of Misty, and this is the real benefit of Misty in this catalog. So the fact that we've combined the Jasmine line again with Misty and Amarula over there, Amarula being the sire of Samson, who I spoke about earlier. But this CFH 0920 was sold in a national sale a few years ago. She's now at Bosiu's herd, McKenna and Jonah's herd. 0920 made a great name for herself in Skulk van Oudtshoorn's herd, as well as in Mon Bijou's herd. It was on their dispersal. No, sorry, they sold on the national sale, and then on their dispersal afterwards, they obviously had some progeny of Misty. But Misty is the root of the bull Rocket, who we sold to Mutanda a few years ago. He's doing a good job at Mutanda. They're very happy with him. He's adapted beautifully in Zambia. And this whole combination over here, out of this super cow, Misty and Jasmine, means that this heifer is going to be breeding superstars, literally superstars of color and red for years to come. So Rocket is a red bull. This Misty was a gray animal. Jasmine is a Bont one. And so it continues. Again, we're not colorblind. We just want to breed functional, good animals. And I think in 24, she's going to definitely breed it. And her cow value of 117, again, just tells the whole story as to what are we talking about. Lot 25 is Costa, who, in my opinion, is one of the best bulls on the auction. Absolutely in love with this bull. He's a smaller framed bull, which I'll talk about in a second. He's thick, he's wide, he's balanced, he's masculine. He is an exceptional bull. He's young, he's only a 20, whereas the older bulls, the previous bulls have all been a little bit older. So one mustn't underestimate him because of his size, because he's being compared to, established herd size and older bulls. But I think those that really want an investment for the future, this 2091 Costa is on literally another level. And let's just explain that in terms of the pedigree for a second. So here we have Graphics. Graphics is a well-known bull. We sold him into Swaziland. He's a full brother to those other bulls that start with a G, Goliath, Griffin, etc., etc. And Graphics was the Bont one. The others were actually red, but bred Bont, except for Goliath. I don't think he bred red. Now, NDA 9 and 303. 303 is also the ginger line. 303 is the mother of 717, KPO 303. So 717 was 494 and 303 to make 717. So Graphics is a half brother to 717 out of NDA 9. Naomi, NBOR 08180, who in my opinion is actually the secret to this particular bull. See, in the pedigree, there's always a secret weapon, and I think that Naomi is that in my opinion here. So Naomi is the mother of Netstar, which is probably why this is a smaller framed bull, who's also the mother of Nikon, who's used as a reference sire later on in the catalog. Nikon, a beautiful bull. There's still a huge poster of him up in the bull ring. You'll see him on Saturday, those that come, and he's almost a splitting image carbon copy looking like bull of Nikon. So here we have NDA 9 303, 9901, who goes back to 615. And this 9605, if you ask Johan Erasmus, he'll tell you volumes about 9605 as one of, in his opinion, the best cows in the old tours, the early date tours into Kenya. They love 9605. So the sire side over here is established genetics and the combination of the two Bont lines being NDA 9 and 96615, who comes in over there. So yes, both Bont genetics coming through. On the dam side, we've got Hublot. Again, I spoke about, in my opinion, the Hublot factor, which is Jose, Marula 25, Haley 96615. So there's line breeding of 96615 over there. 0321, whose mother is 961, is Buster's mother, a bit of Zambian genetics in 460. And that's where we get to Cecilia. Now, 16141 Cecilia is the cow that we sold to Mutanda years ago, who broke the national record of a house price cow at 600,000 Rand for a cow, standalone cow. So this is her son. And I think the only progeny that we have in our herd of Cecilia, obviously the rest are now in Mutanda. And Arturu tells me all the time that Cecilia is just doing a fantastic job. His dad's favorite cow on his dad's favorite bull, and they absolutely love her. Cecilia has the most amount of milk, I think, ever imaginable in a Boran cow. When she calves, you literally need to milk her out and help her. Although milking equals stimulation and production, but there's just an abundance of milk over there. So there's a hell of a lot of milk potential that this guy will throw into his heifers. So I think he's really a superstar bull for the future. And if I look at his figures again, excellent there with a cow value of 113, as well as the whole rest of it that comes through. So this bull, Costa, I can't speak highly enough because I really rate him, and I think that wherever he goes is going to make a ginormous impact. Lot 26, Ella and Alessi, second youngest calf on sale, born on sale. Anything out of the Ella line, well, firstly, if we look at her, she's a beautiful cow with a nice udder and a lovely little bull calf at foot. But anything that's come out of Ella has been outstanding. So this Ella, FN11219, we bought from Francois many years ago, is actually Abdul's, our herd manager, his favorite cow. She's gone now, but Ella, in his opinion, was our best cow and his best cow because she never fell apart. She always raised good calves, and he absolutely loved her. And if you really want to know about the herd, then Abdul's a great reference because, I mean, he lives and works with these animals, you know, every single day of his life. So anything out of the Ella line and Ella family has done beautifully. And this time combined with Nkombi, I spoke about earlier, which is the bull we bought from Ntaba Nyoni to bring in some bone. And the combination, I think, has worked very nicely. The calf head foot is again by Blixen, the bull that we bought from Sterkfontein that goes back to Matusalech. So some nice genetics, something different. Again, no 2459 used in the pedigree over here. And I think that's a very functional, useful package for the sale. This Shakira, lot 27, is a Pumba daughter. I spoke about Pumba earlier because we spoke about the cow, 07109, CR07109, who went back to 177S, that Zambian cow who bred very, very well, with the Zambian cow 76S. So a combination of two bull breeding Zambian genetics with 0201 Biffle on Zebu, Pandora, making Pumba, Poncho, Pegasus, Chestnut, etc. All those brothers, half brothers and full brothers came out of this cow, and we still flush her today. And again, going back to the Shakira line, and Shakira established an original 0530 Shakira with Samurai 0769. 0769 out of 2823 and 999. 999 over here is also the mother of Kajivu. So if I look at the genetics and if I look at the package and what's actually involved in making this cow here, again, these are herd building blocks that have been established with Shakira 999. Stompy sold a 999, cattle out of 999 years ago, I think, into Yolandi 2 or 3 years ago. Another white cow, beautiful animal, related to 786 out of the same father, 1279, which goes in that direction, obviously, and Samurai. Samurai is registered semen donor, and Keith on his Pioneer sale this year sold progeny out of Samurai 0769, and I think they did very nicely. And the mother, with an ICP of 356 days, is currently at Black Ox at Rogers Sitole. So we've sold the mother, and this is an opportunity on the daughter. Now, her daughter is a Jester calf. Jester is the breed record at 3.5 million rand, who we sold last year to President Ramaphosa's herd. And this is the first calf that we have in our herd out of Jester. So the one and only calf to date out of Jester is from our herd, is on offer on this auction. And here she is at lot 27. I think that she's going to mature into a magnificent heifer in time to come. I think she's going to grow out, fill out, and tighten up beautifully, because that's what they do as they get a bit older. So I wouldn't be worried about her, especially the look of her navel at the moment. It's a lot better than that anyway. But they tighten up and they pull up beautifully. So I think that this is a potential package with a lot of promise. And the fact that that's the only Jester daughter that we have, again, shows that we are more than happy to share what we have produced and what we've sold. And Jester, I think in the Ntaba Nyoni auction this year in March, the animals that were in calf to Jester, I think they got a premium price just because people, in my opinion, were actually buying the calf that was to come. And here you have an opportunity a few months later to buy an established calf that's already out the tummy and ready to do some of its talking by itself. Lot 28, Olive and Horizon calf. That's at foot is a Horizon calf, again, showing the brilliance of Horizon. I think that this package, the beauty of this package again is in the heifer calf. The mother has given enormous effort into the calf. You'll see when you come to the sale on Saturday that she's also one of those cows that are a bit down on condition because she has just raised a monster of a heifer calf. The heifer calf has already been weaned recently to give the mother a little bit of a chance to bounce back. But what a beautiful package this is, and shows again the beauty of what this cow can do. She's a Viking daughter. She's the only Viking daughter on the sale, again out of 3534, which we spoke about with Strixon and Tank, and 2748 is the mother of Eros, which is why Viking was so special. Viking is also the father of the bull Saturn that we sold on the collaboration auction this year for a lot of money. So Viking has bred some of the top progeny in our herd, and here's an opportunity to get one of his daughters. Long-bodied animal, typical of the father Viking, who was a long-bodied bull. And here's the genetics coming together magnificently. So we've got Olifant over here. Olifant we sold years ago into Tom Breitenbach's herd on our very first sale, which was 10 years ago, almost to the day. LW0922, we sold him for 320,000 Rand at the time, which was a ginormous figure, and the highest priced bull of the year, Boran bull of the year. And I think he's still alive because I got a picture from them not so long ago, and yeah, it showed me that he was still doing a good job and living and breathing and carrying on. So Olifant has a special place in our heart from a nostalgic point of view, and this bull even more so, TLM 0011. So I think, you've all heard the story that Jaron and I got back into the Boran when we decided what we had and let's reinvest in it. And 0011 was the first bull that we bought as a herd sire. We bought him out of Yapu du Toit. Back in the day, he's the bull that Johan van der Nest always refers to as the length machine because he bred such tremendous length. He's a full brother to Napoleon, who did a massive job at Francois' herd. He's the root of him is also 494 on the sire side and 9513 on the dam side we spoke about. So the genetics in 0011 certainly are established with Olifant, with Viking, and then the calf at foot out of Horizon, which we'll get to. What's interesting for me in this package is if we got it right and predictions are correct, that she is actually in calf to Cyclone lot 10 or Simba 17103 is a bull Simba. So just that would be a match made in heaven if that actually turns out one of those two. This 17103 Simba is the sire of the heifer calf Gwyneth that we sold to Rogers on a summer sale a few years ago for 1.7. And I think she was an improvement then of the mother. And he's actually a King Sharka's son, 17103 Simba. So a beautiful package, a beautiful heifer calf, and again out of Horizon, the herd legend in our herd out of Hublot. So we have Hublot, Viking, Olifant, 0011, and some of the real herd sires used in the creation of our herd over the last dozen years. And there's the calf at foot. Fantastic opportunity and a very nice animal. Jumbo is probably the most famous bull, I think, in the Boran breed from phenotype, and certainly set the modern wave and the new trend of Boran bulls. He is unbelievable. He's doing a great job at Arturu's herd in Zambia. He's the son of Hot 1024, Jasmine and Khan, the full brother to Jameson and Jester and Joker and Jackto and all of the others. And this is a daughter of his who is outstanding. In my opinion, an exceptional heifer, one of the best on sale, by far, standout. And, anything out of Jumbo, I think, has worked beautifully. But here we have an opportunity to see Jumbo over there with Haley, who is the mother of Hublot, with Samburu, who has always been a firm favorite in the herd, and his progeny have been fantastic, and Kajivu over there, which goes back to Marula 25. So we have Jasmine with Haley. The best combination and the most highly anticipated combination I think we could ever have predicted. And these aren't daughters of. I mean, here is the Jasmine, here is the Haley, the originals. And I think this heifer is absolutely smashing. When Simon was at us again last week, he picked her as his firm favorite and loved her, and her width and her balance is just magnificent. And I can't talk highly enough of this Jumbo daughter. She's the only Jumbo daughter on the sale, and as I said, she's an absolute superstar and a stunner. She is potentially in calf to Casanova or Bismarck. So she comes out of a different breeding herd to the rest of the auction offering, and this animal has the potential to be calved to one of those 2 herd sires. So I just, the whole picture over here, the genetics, the phenotype, and who she's potentially calved to, make her, in my opinion, one of the firm favorites for the whole auction. And whoever buys her buys a matriarch. Goodyear, there's quite a nice interest building up in Goodyear. Goodyear is the jumbo son, so it's the jumbo daughter followed by the jumbo son. Goodyear is a magnificent bull. He is phenotypically fantastic. He's long, he's muscled, he's hard, he's masculine, he's big-bodied, he's 800 plus kilograms, and he is a machine of a bull. And Abdul will tell you that he is his favorite bull on the sale. So never mind Cyclone and the rest of them. This is Abdul's number 1, and he loves Goodyear very, very much. So if we talk about him, there we have Jumbo, which I already spoke about. And on the dam side, this cow, Ginger, VST 12120, is proving to be one of the superstars in our herd, out of Quentin's first drop herd, who goes back to Ginger, which we spoke about, who is 303 and NDA 9. And this Ginger is a full sister to Graphics. Ginger, this cow Ginger, VST 12120, we have flashed a few times. She always produces beautifully. She always does very nicely. She is the mother of Galileo. So this bull over here is a half brother to Galileo. Galileo is a famous bull in a herd directly out of Cairn. So it's Galileo would be Cairn on Ginger. This time we've got Jumbo, which introduces Jasmine. So I think actually an improvement genetically wise. And the combination of Jasmine and Ginger, who really needs no introduction, world-class genetics. And if you look at the bull, you understand why. We sold the daughter of this particular Ginger cow in a summer sale to Rogers as well, who was a beautiful cow. I think she was lot 4 on the sale, and he picked up a real super animal there. The figures are excellent. Cow value of 126. So already, and I think his accuracy percentage is already over 50. Stands to be corrected, but I think so. And he's already a potential AR bull, that if whoever buys him wants to register him as an AR bull and goes through the society protocols and he meets the criteria, I think there you have it, already an opportunity to make some money back in terms of semen sales from an AR bull. So he's a great bull, absolutely one of the firm favorites. And with a pedigree like this, there's no, I mean, it's just logical as to why we say what we say. We've used him in the herd, and obviously we retain a semen share. While I say, sorry, before I go into the Jasmine, while I say that, out of the 8 bulls that are on offer, 5 of them have been used already in the herd. So 5 of the 8 are, in my opinion, good enough for my herd, which means they should be good enough for somebody else's herd as well. And I'm happy to have used all of them. And the younger bulls I haven't used yet, but I would have no problem using them in the herd. This Jasmine, 2484, lot 31, is unbelievable. What a lovely heifer. Well, now she's a cow, but when she was a heifer, she was the standout heifer of her generation. When Christopher comes and he does his herd inspections with us, I think she was one of those that he put into the top draw camp. So she's absolutely great. She's the full sister of the Battle of the Sisters that we sold last year, the 23 production sale. Both of those sisters went to Paul de Vet's Green Valley Crops and Green Valley Boran herd. So those were sold as heifers. This one's now being sold as a 3-in-1. Shows you the fertility coming through. And she's balanced. She's not the biggest cow in the world, which is functionally perfect in my opinion, but she's absolutely exceptional. And if I look at the genetics of her, the reason why she's exceptional is because of this. This cow, WZ1545, who is a full sister to Jumbo and all of those others out of Cairn and Hot 1024 Jasmine. But this cow, 1545, flashes brilliantly, breeds brilliantly, and is one of the top 3. Like I mentioned about Rachel, she's definitely in the same category, in my opinion. She's also the mother of the bull Jamaica at Ridwan. As I said, she's the mother of the Jasmine sisters we sold last year, and she's obviously the mother of this lot 31A. World-class cow. She's a bond cow. She's the splitting image of Hot 1024, and she's one of those cows that whenever the opportunity arises for a flash, she's first on the list. And the sire side here is Sharka, who is the semen lot 32 coming up later. But anything out of Sharka has this build, this look, this feel to it, this feminine presence with the matchbox build. I remember Hendy Matthews always used to tell me about the matchbox. So she's got the matchbox, and she is definitely a superstar and one of the best, I think, in my opinion, on the whole auction. And out of this mother, anything and everything is possible. And this cow is a flashing opportunity par excellence. She must be flashed, and she's going to do well. On the figures side, excellent figures. Again, Sharka brings in fantastic figures into the herd because he's such a good bull and he just did wonders, as well as Jasmine, etc. So this is a standout princess in my opinion, and she's beautifully balanced. The calf head foot is by Beluga. I think this is, sorry, the first of the Belugas that are coming through. So Beluga is a PM14R son, and Haley being the mother of Hublot. So half brother to Hublot. Beluga, Beluga we bought, you won't believe me, but Beluga we bought on a slaughter stock sale. He was destined to be slaughtered. He was on one of those weekly commercial sales that was from there to the butchery as a C grade in Bella Bella. So on a Tuesday or a Wednesday afternoon, we drove out to Bella Bella. We ended up buying the bull Beluga. We gave him a name, and that's where Beluga came from. And the reason why he was on a slaughter stock sale was simply because he has a broken hip, and he still has a broken hip. And with his broken hip, he runs after his whole herd for a full season. He covers them all. He catches them all. He fights with all the other bulls in there that he's the dominant bull. And it was one of those lucky purchases, and he's really done a great job. And the reason why we bought him was simply for semen value. So we bought him hoping that we'd extract some semen for flushing and AR purposes. Turned out we gave the guy a chance because his condition was great. He's still around, and he's a reference sire. And you'll see him in the picture in the back of the catalog. So that's PM14R with Haley, and that's the combination who made Beluga. Beluga is the sire of this calf, and a very nice, good breeding bull. And we've sold progeny from Beluga already in the past. And I think a lovely bull calf to complement the Jasmine. Here we have Sharka with his 12 semen straws. Sharka, again, has a special place in my herd, in my heart. Sharka was one of those bulls that are just unreplicatable and something I don't think we'll ever find again. Sharka was a firm favorite. Christopher loved Sharka. Elof Miller loved Sharka. I loved Sharka, etc. So Sharka was sold. He was obviously born in Simon Hodgson's Boran genetics herd. He was sold on one of his sales to Norman O'Day, where Norman is not really a progressive stud farmer and eventually commercialized his herd and just went into weaner production. And Norman nagged me, please, Simeon, come to Natal. I want a bull. There's a bull I want you to see, and I only want him to go into your herd because I know he's going to do a fantastic job in your herd. And that's where the legacy of Sharka comes from. And that's why we called him King Sharka, because he comes out of Natal. And, being the king of the Zulus, the famous king of the Zulus, and this guy coming out of Natal, we gave him the name King Sharka for that reason. But what a bull, beefy bull, bred brilliantly. He bred magnificent females. He bred magnificent bulls. We are using a few of his sons in the herd. In fact, the bull Walnut that is currently running with the auction offering is a son of Sharka. Simba, I spoke about, is the father of Gwyneth that Rogers bought from us. Scorpio is the father of the calf at lot 17 with Jackie. Those are all Sharka sons. So this is an opportunity of absolute note to get something out of Sharka. And he's also the father of this lot 31. Only 12 straws of semen. And he's the father of this lot 33, which I'm going to talk about in a second. I just want to talk about IVF and the ability with IVF at the moment. So, I mean, Colin, as you know from Senior, Colin bought the Picasso semen from us last year, and he bought 12 straws of semen of Picasso. And we went through an IVF program with him in Embryo Plus and micromanaged the process for him. And he's now sitting with almost 100 confirmed pregnancies out of that program and the Picasso semen. And he obviously used a few other bulls as well that he's bought. And he's sitting with a lot of pregnancies, and he's got more commercial cows that are already pregnant, but just not certifiable yet to be released from Embryo Plus. Now, out of those 12 straws that he bought, I think he's still got 5 left. So he's used, just over halfway line of the straws that he bought. So with technology and with IVF today, 12 straws of semen is really enough straws to build an entire herd out of. And if you use the straws wisely, then that can go a hell of a long way. Also to mention, these are conventional semen straws. They are not sexed semen, but they were made and are made under quarantine conditions, and they are available for export purposes. And it's an opportunity really to make an impact on the herd for AR or for flushing. This is one of his daughters, Sabrina, lot 33, again a firm favorite for me in the sale. Magnificent cow, beautiful cow, and a lovely heifer calf at foot out of Casanova. Casanova, again, we spoke about, which is the full brother to Cyclone and Chagall. So here we have Shaka with Picasso in the calf, and you can see the quality of this calf coming through. There we have Shaka and the mother Sabrina. The mother Sabrina is the cow that made Seiko and who is the father of Lexus. So this is the direct daughter, CR0940, Sabrina with Shaka, and the legacy of Seiko and Lexus, and the combination of the calf at foot being out of Casanova and Picasso really tells a magnificent story of genetics coming together. And we see it in the pedigree, we see it in the figures, we see it in the femininity. She's a 3-in-1 as well, and she's 6 months pregnant. And this whole package in lot 33, I think, is phenomenal. Another great Shaka daughter. But if you just really think about all those names I mentioned of Picasso, Shaka with Sabrina, etc., it's just ridiculous. And add Cremora into this package as well. So this is a flushing opportunity and an IVF opportunity on the calf. And again, interesting that it was a Bont bull on a red cow that made this calf, who's red turning a bit yellow, and didn't necessarily carry through the Bont side of it. And again, we don't farm for color, we farm for functionality. So there we have the Sabrina lot. Taking us to lot 34, we're getting towards the end of the catalog. So thank you those that are still here and for your patience and for listening. I know it's a lot to take in. Believe me, it's a lot to think about and talk about at the same time. So lot 34 is Jasper, a Jasper daughter, another heifer out of Jasper, a Bonti. But what's beautiful about her, never mind that she's just a beautiful looking heifer waiting to calf and become a magnificent cow. She has got genetics in her that are out of Bont, going back to Bont lines, quite nicely. So we have Jasper, who is a Bont bull out of Jasmine, going back to 615. We have Hublot, who is a Bont bull. So there's a combination of Bont on Bont, Hublot. And we have Cornels, who did a very good job. Semen's been sold out of Cornels, and embryos have been made and sold out of Cornels by Stompy. So there we have a 3-way out of Jasper, Hublot, Cornels, 3 magnificent Bont bulls who have all done fantastic job in their respective herds. And the combination of this, if somebody's really interested in Bont genetics, chances are that this cow will breed Bont and flush Bont for the rest of her life just because of that. This 17545 Alexis is a Hublot daughter, obviously, in our herd. Fantastic cow, beautiful cow, and one of those standout Hublot daughters in our herd, together with Scarlet. And those Hublots are coming to an end because Hublot is obviously gone now for a while. And those that will come through by way of embryos or AI. But the natural mating of Hublot is kind of coming, as I said, to an end. It's through Horizon and the others now. But this is an opportunity second to none for something Bont and really something special. This 17545 is an outstanding cow. Take it from me, but she's really awesome. All right, this Tequila Sun, Aero, lot 35. He is one of the youngest on the sale. Him and Costa are the 2 babies of the sale, and babies with respect, just because they're just not on the same age group as the others. He's a Tequila Sun, as I spoke about over there, which is 1244 out of this cow, K6K3385. So completely unrelated, Kenyan genetics, completely outcross, and something very usable. And this is the reason why we have retained so many Tequila Suns and are using so many Tequila Suns in our herd. So another famous Tequila Sun that we sold on the showcase auction this year was Barbados. Sold for a nice amount of 450,000 Rand. And again, a Tequila Sun. So Tequila's bread length. There's just no doubt about it. And Christopher always asked me, is that the bull with a long length, with a lot of length? Yes, that's him. So Tequila is that man, and there's a daughter coming out of him just now. But if I can just delve into the pedigree a bit more, there we have Maluti, which is KPO 548 and Kim 45. So I spoke earlier about the Kim genetics and the poledness out of Kim. So Maluti was a one-of-a-kind, complete one-of-a-kind. We bought on a national sale, I think, from Stompy. Not sure how Stompy acquired the bull, but but we bought him from Stompy. So this is a one-of-a-kind in tequila, and Maluti is a complete one-of-a-kind. Also an AI-registered bull, polled bull, yellowish bull, and a magnificent bull, one of the original herd size in our herd. Dawood Dokrat always asks me about Maluti because I think he liked Maluti and has got 1 or 2 daughters as well. So here we have the combination of tequila and Maluti. And on the dam side, 622 with the Mutara 1417. So in this bull, and if you look at the pedigree, there's absolutely nothing of the conventional breeding at all that the conventional genetics that we find commonly in South Africa. So he is a complete outcross opportunity for those that are looking, who think that their herds are getting a little bit inbred. Well, then this is a bull that represents an opportunity to diversify a bit. Nice RCP in the mother there of 367, and very good figures as well of 119 and 116. When you see these blanks like this in the catalog, it's because there isn't enough data in the family tree in order to amalgamate through the algorithms enough information to generate when they put the cow values together. That's why you sometimes get blanks. And you also get it when you put full brother and full sister, etc., etc. There just isn't enough. So when you look at this bull, he's a beef carrying machine. He's masculine, and I think an outcross. Very, very good bull. And I'm not worried about his sheath at all. Certainly not in the photo. But when you see him in real life, you'll agree with me. He carries the sheath absolutely perfectly. He's got perfect control. The angle is good, not fleshy, and not too fleshy at least. And a very, very good bull, and certainly something for any herd as an outcross bull. Lot 36 is the tequila daughter. A stunning cow. Lovely champagne color. Those that are interested in something unique. Lovely, lovely champagne color. Again, the pigment is there, and so is the feminine face, the eyes, the pleats in the neck, the little hump. Beautiful little cow. And from a genetics point of view, I love this cow because I love the contribution and how she was made. Again, we have tequila. On the dam side, we've got this bull. We called him Flagship, BHR 802, who comes out of these original Mufunzala Zambian genetics. These are the genetics that we established our herd on back in 1993, 1995. This was the herd that our late grandfather brought into South Africa. The Tough Enough herd, which then became the Meerhof herd. EK Prefix was our cousin, Evan Kadish. He was a vet, and that's where EK comes from. And then it obviously later became BH. So these Mufunzala genetics are running out. This was the only bull that we used out of those genetics. The other Mufunzala genetics comes through by way of the female side. This time it's coming through from the sire side. So 802 is the only one. There's actually a picture of him in the auction yard. Those that want to ask me on Saturday or Friday, I'll show you the picture of him. He's there. So here we have tequila on Flagship, and on the dam side, going back to this NNR is in Tabanyoni's herd. So before they were NBOR, they were NNR for Ntabanyoni. I suppose the R would be for Ramaphosa. I'm not sure. But when he eventually started his herd, he had a flushing. Well, he got all these genetics. They did an exchange with Simon Hodgson, and that's why he got access to these original Kenyan Foundation genetics. So in this pedigree and in this cow, again, there's nothing common. There's nothing, no 2459, no 786, no PM14R, nothing, no 622, nothing. So a beautiful cow showing you Kenyan genetics at play with a bit of Zambian, with a touch of Zambian back in the third line, and good figures as well. And again, not enough data coming through because the genetics of tequila aren't enough yet to produce. From the calf point of view, Sambuca. Now, Sambuca we spoke about as lot 2 is a Sambuca, and the lot 38 is a Sambuca. Is again those original and unique rare Kenyan genetics of with the mother being 1058, half brother to Bison, and the sire being 1179. So again, why did I use this combination? Because I didn't want to dilute the genetic influence of this cow with the South African bred bull, for want of a better term. So again, the entire package you see in front of you over here is Kenyan with that little influence of our original Zambian herd. So again, something unique and something amazing. Lot 37, we keep one of the best till the end. In fact, they're all great, and there's no good, bad, or B team animals here, as you can see, and how passionately I talk about all of them. But lot 37 is the direct Belinda daughter. So there she is. There's the original Belinda, who we bought years ago out of Christo Meyer's herd. Mountain View. This animal was screened off an auction, and we bought her after the auction. I think, we liked the cow. She's a white cow, and we gave her the name Belinda. And since then, I think we've made that name famous, similarly to how we did with Picasso, and for good reason. Now, everything out of Belinda that happens to come out of, in Christo's herd and Mountain View, etc., and in our herd are real superstar animals. So this year, I think Johan van der Nest at the national auction even made mention that the Belinda cows had such a good impact in our herd and in Christo's herd. So anything out of Belinda has been world class. This is a direct Belinda daughter. We don't have too many direct Belinda daughters. She's still alive. We still flush her. But as far as sons are concerned, I think her most famous son we sold was Bolden, who we sold last year to Yolandi and Donnie, the Minati herd, for a good price, obviously, of 2.4 million. Fantastic bull out of BH1219 Kikuyu, who was at Dawood's herd. So that combination worked very well, which was a bit of Marula 25 on Belinda. And here we have something else, which is out of the CFH 14288 Merlin, who's a PM14R, as you can see, and Koenig. So this 14288 we bought from Bernie Stahl on one of his sales in Kroonstad. So we bought Merlin. There's a massive picture of him up in the auction yard. When you walk into the auction yard, behind you on the wall, one of those couple of posters there next to Rolex, he's there. Tank, I think he's also there, and so is Dynamite, but that's where Merlin is. And this is a direct daughter of Belinda. So I can't stress enough the quality of Belinda, the flushing opportunity that exists, the proven breeding ability of her, the marketing ability of the Belinda family and line, and it's all for good reason. So anything out of Belinda must be taken seriously and really flushed. As far as the calf, and again, a cow value there of 114, is also 3-in-1, and also giving everything to her calf with a fantastic RCP of 389 and giving everything to her calf. So she's also down in condition. She's one of 3 animals that are down in condition. Calf has been weaned. She'll spring back within a month, 3 weeks to a month, and she'll be looking good as gold. But again, she has given herself as a young cow to this calf, which is exactly what the Boran breed is famous for, the mothering ability and the ability to look after its own. So here we have Beluga, again, as the sire of this calf at foot, and the combination of Haley, the original Haley, Hublot's mother, with Belinda in this calf. So you can just imagine what she's going to breed in time to come, how she's going to flush in time to come. And as soon as she's eligible for IVF, I would suggest that whoever buys this package, flush the cow, IVF the calf, get as much of this story as you can into your own herds, because they're just going to repay themselves in time to come endlessly. So that's Belinda, one of the household names in the herd, like a Diana, like a Jasmine, for example, and that's where and Christina, which is the next animal that we talk about. So this Christina is the last lot of the sale, also a polled animal out of Christina. There she is, Christina. I spoke about her. We bought her out of Kevin Klutter's Circle C Dispersal. 74p, that original matriarch, who's also the root of Cremora and Cyclone and the rest of them, and 159U, which is Kojak and that whole gang. So here we have the result of Shaka, who I spoke about, and the Seaman Lot 32, with Christina, 74p. And this whole puzzle and picture comes together not in the cow, who is a magnificent cow by herself. Some people like polled and some people don't, but there's definitely a tendency to go a bit more polled, I think, in the breed at the moment, certainly in the commercial world. But the whole story results in this calf at foot. And it shows you again the genetic ability of this cow, 74p, to just breed bull after bull after bull, no matter where she comes in the pedigree. This is also a Sambuca son, so something completely unique and different genetics, as I spoke about in the previous lot. So it's at 1058, who clicked with Biffle to make bison. So in this calf, you effectively have the genetic combination of bison, because it's Biffle with Sambuca's mother, 1058, was bison. So here we have bison, essentially. We have Shaka, we have Christina, we have 74p, which is all of those brothers and the cyclones of the world. And this is why I say in all the interviews and with Tinus that this is a genetics business. It's not a multiplication business. And in order to be an effective, progressive, leading stud farmer, this knowledge, I think, is something that one has to acquire, to learn and understand what you're dealing with. Same as you go to university to get a degree. Similarly, with stud farming, you actually have to know a little bit about the paperwork, a little bit of the connecting of the dots as to who's where, where's what, and how did they work, and who did they click with, and making it all fit together. And the last bit of advice as we summarize and round off just after 8 o'clock, and we said we'd end, and we started late, so I'm actually surprised that we've done this relatively on time, is someone once told me, and they're 100% right, is that the pedigree certificate is not this. This is not what you see. The pedigree certificate continues on and on and on and on forever and ever in both directions. As you can see me drawing a little bit, getting creative now. The pedigree certificate, this is just what we see now, but the future goes forever. The history goes absolutely nowhere. The genetics goes nowhere. And as long as one has the ingredients, then there will always be breed back. There will always be throwback, and there'll always be something that comes from somewhere to understand how the puzzle connected all together. So my only advice to those that are starting out is to understand what you're doing, because these animals will repeat themselves. If you want to buy bulls, you must look at the mothers. You must try to identify where they're coming from and where the root is. If you're trying to buy cows like this with bulls, stud bulls potentially at foot, then one should do so and know exactly that why you're getting what you're getting is a result of all of this combination, years of experience, years of knowledge, years of trial and error. And this is really the culmination. So when we have our auctions like this production auction, the summer sale, the friends and family sale coming next year, the collaboration sale, etc., and sharing the herd, sharing the genetics, we do so gladly. We share the knowledge, and all this knowledge that I'm trying to part on to you guys now for 2 hours is available all the time. I mean, guys get hold of me, people get hold of me on WhatsApp or on the phone from all over the world at all times of the day, and I'm as responsive as I can be to everybody. And it's just my privilege to be able to share knowledge and to share these cattle with you, and look at what we have created. And hopefully one day we will be your customers buying on your auctions and your production auctions, and you'll know exactly what it takes to go through this tormenting process of organizing and creating auctions and seeing it for yourselves. If we can just end off quickly with the reference hires, I did talk about them, but just to run through them. We all know what Picasso looks like. This is Chorizo, very, very well-bred bull with all the bond lines in the world, but he came out red. Here's Galaxy, the 98 son, out of Gabriela, that long-bodied 98 son who's got 2 sons on the sale. Here's Grizzly, the one that lost his eye in the neck clamp, the one that the inspectors asked about, where did this bull come from and how does he breed. There's Jasper, who has got quite a lot of progeny, certainly in the heifers, as well as that Lot 5C calf at foot. So tremendous bull, who we used ignorantly. As I say, we make mistakes. We used him ignorantly on our Nguni herd for a long time, until eventually I asked Christopher and a few inspectors to come and have a look at the bull, and they basically laughed at me and said, "What are you doing wasting a bull like this on your Nguni herd? Throw him into your stud herd immediately and let's see what happens." And as you can see from the result of that advice, the animals that he's produced on the auction, I think, was sound advice. And that's why we have breed inspectors, and that's why we do listen to them, breed advisors and breed inspectors. And we must always learn from superior knowledge. And thank you, Christopher, and everybody else for that bit of advice. There's Jester. This is the Khan son that we sold last year to President Ramaphosa's herd, who his daughter is on the sale. King Kong, Lot 14. He's the sire of Lot 14 Oprah. That's the Kelly son out of Eros. In Kombi, this is the bull I spoke about that we bought in specifically to bring some bone back into the herd. Beluga, this is the bull I mentioned to you that we bought on the slaughter stock sale, who has the broken hip. Even in this photo, his hip is still broken, but you wouldn't be able to see. Only when he walks can you see it's a little bit funny. But he's the half brother to Hublot out of Haley and PM14R, and a very dominant bull and breeds brilliantly. Nikon, as you can see, is the copy and paste of Costa. Nikon, some of you might remember from an auction a few years ago, and he was sold actually into a commercial herd in Ermelo, and I think, the feedback I've got has been fantastic. So Nikon, half brother to Netstar, out of Naomi and Graphics. and an excellent little bull that did very well. And his son is doing, I think, an improvement, to be honest. There's Hublot, the famous Hublot that I've spoken about. Famous bull, always puts his little star on the head most of the time on his progeny. He didn't do it on Horizon, but I think he did it on Scarlet and a few others. But that's the famous Hublot. Without him, tribute to Hublot, really. Without him, never mind Picasso. Without him, our herd would not be anywhere. And that was really the golden calf, so to speak, of our herd. Kodak is the sire of Lot 2, the Ellison, the Zebu out of D0906, who was a polled animal. And if you look at his head, he's probably got one of the strongest heads in the breed, and coming out of a polled cow. So this is a fantastic bull, and he's bred brilliantly. Pumba, who is one of the brothers I spoke about out of CR07109, Pandora. So it was Pumba and Poncho. That was the brother. That was the battle one year where Yaku took the one brother, and we've got this one with Pegasus and Chestnut. So there's Pumba. Blixen is the bull we bought out of Sterkfontein. He's got 2 calves at foot. Very good bull. 717 is a breed legend, and he's the sire of the Battle of the Brothers this year, Lot 15A and B, Jigsaw and Ginger. But 717 needs no introduction, and has had a ginormous impact on Francois' herd, our herd, and I suppose the breed. Jameson, we all know, is one of those full brothers of Jumbo, etc. And yeah, the sire of the Lot 5 story, Ferdinand and Felicia, bigger bodied bull, and an excellent bull at present from Maposa's herd. So that's just a few of the sires that have been used, that we had photos from at last minute to rush into the catalogue. Obviously, as I said in the beginning, 41 different bulls like this were used to make up the whole catalogue. There's obviously not 41 photos here, but very proud to offer this auction offering to you all, and really hope that those of you that can will make it in person to experience and witness these animals on Saturday. You've got to come and see them to believe them, because they are phenomenal. Otherwise, we obviously do have the MEERKAT and SwiftVee. That'll be the online presence and everything else that goes with it. But we look forward to the sale. We look forward to Friday. We look forward to, everybody being with us if you can. And all the questions, you're welcome to send me. All the phone calls, you're welcome to call me. And I really hope that whoever buys these animals looks after them like we do. You can hear the emotion, the passion, and look after yourselves, look after the cattle, look after the breed, because the breed will look after you, the cattle will look after you. It's a great society, it's a great organization, and I just think all in all, it's been a wonderful experience. So if there are questions, I'm more than happy to stay on, listen. Some of you want to go, it's a late night already. Thank you for joining and listening, and I would see. Oh, sorry, Tinus is just mentioning to me, I did say it in the beginning, I'm going to remind everybody now, maybe some of the late joiners, please do me a favor and go to the website boranauction.co.za and pre-register to attend the auction. As I said in the beginning, there's already almost 200 people that have gone through that process, and I said they are coming, and that's never mind all the other people that will be there from a sponsorship perspective. So the venue gets really busy. So in order to streamline the administration and the entrance and the registrations, please go through that process. It'll take you less than 2-3 minutes, boranauction.co.za, and allow us to help you to streamline the whole auction process come Saturday morning. And come as early as you can, because there's always extras to do and to see, and have coffee or a drink or have a gin or something like that. So that was the first thing that Tinus is telling me about. And there is a recording of this session. Yeah, so the recording of this session and this webinar will be available on Wednesday. Tinus has just said to me he wants to brush it up tomorrow. So it'll be available on Wednesday. You'll share it out on Farmspace and on YouTube. So anybody that wants to go through this process or just fast track a bit to, again, recap what I said, because I know it was a lot to digest, it will be available on Wednesday through Tinus or through myself or Farmspace, Hurwitz Farming, social platforms, etc., etc. And yeah, Tinus and Farmspace always do something before our auction, the August auction specifically, called Chatter Bicky Bull, which will be on Friday night at 6 o'clock, which they live stream, so no mistakes can be made. Yeah, pay attention and stick around for that. Tinus has got some nice guest speakers and lined up. So, influencers as far as the beef industry is concerned, not necessarily only Boran people, but influencers in the industry. So they'll be there and attending the auction as well. So yeah, Friday night, 6 o'clock is Chatabiki Bull. Otherwise, Saturday morning, we see you online or at the venue. And I look forward to seeing you all. Have a lovely night, everybody. And yeah, drive safely and look after. Any questions? Excuse me, I'm more than happy. There is a question I see here. All right, Tinus, well, I've got a few questions. How do I get on to the questions?
It's just comments. Comments.
Are they comments or?
Yeah, it's just comments.
Okay. Let me just read through this quickly. Yeah, I think you can see what I can see anyway. The Zelfree pre-registration can be done on boranauction.co today. Quite right. Thank you. From Akko, what a bull. Initially, I was offended when you compared him to Picasso, but this animal is generally majestic, definitely in the same league as Picasso, and your comparison is to Picasso is accurate. Thank you. Then Tinus, you can download the catalog. Then Akko again, this bull is incredibly masculine, awesome genetics indeed. Tinus, please raise your right hand. And Roger Sitole, well done, Simeon. This is very helpful. Okay, thank you. Those are the messages. Is there anything else, any other questions that somebody wants to unmute their microphone and just ask with pleasure? Or otherwise, yeah, we call it a day, I guess. Anybody got any questions? No, you sure?
I do, Simeon, but it's particular to my herd. Good
Yes.
evening.
Hi, Rogers.
Well, man, thank you so much. Thank you so much for this. It's quite innovative. Get used to webinars in the business world. We do that quite a lot. But within an auction space, it's quite refreshing. So well done on this. It's quite useful. I look at lot 8 and I look at that cow in terms of her length, how she is, and then I think of my bull like Thanos. What are your thoughts in pairing such a cow to Thanos? What would you do? I mean, you've tried quite a lot of stuff and you've created or produced amazing results. What would look like if you take a Thanos who is not necessarily a huge bull compared to lot 8?
Okay.
I know I'm being quite particular. I'm sorry for everybody.
No worries. No, Rogers, you've absolutely, there we are. I just wanted to get her up for everybody to see her at the same time. So Rogers, look, I know Thanos obviously because you bought him from us. And I personally, without being funny, I think that Thanos on this cow would be a match made in heaven, because from the genetics point of view of bringing Jasmine of Thanos, I mean, Thanos is another one of those full brothers to Jumbo, Jester, Joker, etc. And Rogers bought Thanos from us out of hand. He had the choice of a few, and he chose Thanos as the most all-round balanced bull of the lot. And there's a photo of Thanos in this year's journal. So Thanos on a cow like Nancy over here, in my opinion, phenotypically would work wonders. She's a bigger framed animal, although she's quite young. She's quite big because she's got 96-75 in her, which generally turns out sometimes a little bit larger framed. Thanos is a smaller bull, so I think that the two would complement each other genetically. Definitely, it'd be line breeding 615 because of Jasmine coming into it, to be combining Jasmine with 9513 as well. So I think the genetics would work well. And as far as the calf is concerned, coming out of Rachel with Tequila, that's a future that you could put to any of your bulls, and anybody could. So Rogers, I don't know where your head's at, but I think that you could get this right. What I will say though is don't be surprised if the calf at foot afterwards comes out red, because there's no correlation with Bont and Bont equaling Bont. And the father Rattler, the father of the calf at foot here, is actually a red bull, reddish yellow, who made that Bont calf. So there is obviously Bont genetics in the package, but who cares? We don't breed for color, we breed for consistency and for functionality. But I think, yes, you spot on. I think that the two will match very well, and I would definitely recommend that package and that pairing.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Sure. Okay. And where else are we? Dennis, anything else? Anybody else got other questions? I'm more than happy. Unmute your microphones, and I'm listening. Anybody got any other comments? Are you sure? Okay. So then should we call it a night and see you all online or see you all at the venue? Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, feel free to leave, and I appreciate all your attendance, and I appreciate you being with us. So thank you very much, and we'll see you soon.